Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Chatting with Nuts. I'm your host, Jimmy Nuts, of course, and I am joined by the semi-permanent co-host that has not been a semi-permanent co-host in quite some time.
Dude, what happened? What happened?
It's been months since we've seen Alan from the Library of Alexandria. I mean, I think most people are familiar with you at this point if they've been watching Chatting with Nuts for any extended period of time. That is Atticus in the background, if anyone was curious. That is the other guest of the show.
Yeah, he'll be on when he's done eating.
When is the last time you were on? I know it was episode 82, but I had some weeks.
It was the summer, so it's been at least 6 months. Like I
saw you. I came to your house. Like, we have not done a Chatting with Us since I came to your house in November.
Correct. Like it was. I'm gonna look. I'll look. Hold on.
Also,
but it was. I think it was the summer, so I think it's been over 6 months. Philip has been on twice since last I was on.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's all out of whack.
Oh, we did not do one here. Jimmy was on a stream with me, but it doesn't really count. So you did come on. We did a stream together when you were here.
That might have been our best stream, actually.
It was great. Hey, if I search Chatting with Nuts, it pops up Chatting with Nuts and Chatting with Nuts Alan.
Give the people what they want. I mean, you are the most viewed guest of all time.
But that is true. That is true.
Now, to be fair, you've also been on more than anyone by a magnitude of many, but your episodes are also always the most popular. Philip Chase is actually in the chat. It says, feels like a while since we've been treated to a Jimmy Allen chat. Philip, I feel like I have not talked to you in forever.
It was 7 months ago, Jimmy. It was episode 82.
7 months? This is easily the longest it's been since you've been, like, gaps between episodes, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Since I showed up the first time, this is the longest gap between them. Jimmy, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I hate what chat looks like on this thing. It is okay because I have the YouTube chat open, which I can deal with. But this chat over here on the right, I'm going to.
It's not it. It's not it.
No, it's not it. There's no demarcation lines. It's just like text with a space in between it.
It looks nice on my end. I mean,
I'm sure it does. The owner experience. You're the landlord who lives in the villa house. Meanwhile, your freaking tenant farmers live in the cardboard box. You're eking out a subsistence existence.
I specifically moved this platform to make my guests feel inferior to me. That was the entire.
I mean, well, you know what? It worked.
This is the year of the alpha. Okay.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And you know what? Like, I'm just gonna have to take my gamma position.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll guide you, little guy.
Thanks,
bro.
Buddy. I don't know how these big channels do it.
It's tough. It's tough having arms this big. Belltube said you're also his most watched episode of For Whom the Bell Tolls. So you do numbers, not on your own channel, but on other people's channels. You do
on my
numbers.
Channel. I couldn't put up the kind of numbers I put on here on my channel if I tried, and I don't try. But if I did, I couldn't put them up.
We would never know because you never try.
Look, if I don't know, like no one's actually here, like, because Jimmy, just look at the comments and then just find the comment that is relevant to our interests. But we talked briefly prior. People are only here. No one's here to see me. They just want to hear me. They just want to hear me hoot and holler. That's it.
I think people are curious because you're kind of back. Like, I thought you were done. I thought I had finally convinced you to retire, focus on the things that matter. You know, like driving students around everywhere. I swear you're driving kids every single weekend. Every time I talk to you, you're like, I'm driving these stupid kids around. But I thought you were kind of done with YouTube, but you're researching. I mean, you're back.
I have it recently. First of all, Philip, there's no one here who's surprised that I'm not the biggest guest on that, because your channel does not like me. People who watch your channel find me offensive to the profession of reading, and really wish that they could eliminate my freedom of speech. So that's why, Philip. But I'm glad that Philip extends a hand to the untouchables outside his fiefdom.
Alan, I think Philip is here to help. I think he wants to try to boost you as much as he can.
Well, I haven't done anything. It's been hard. The last couple of months have been hard. One, because I have been I have been sick. I'm sick right now. I've been sick so many times since 2025, like so many times. And last month, most of my month was taken up with I was sick. I was sick for most of spring break, which that's fun. Like, how sad is that, Jimmy, that Philip has to defend me in his comments all the time? Like,
it is YouTube.
I don't think that I say a whole bunch of like things that need defending, but apparently I do. Anyway, so I was sick all my spring break, and then the last 2 weeks of the month, I was at the state competition and getting kids ready for the state competition, and then like so I didn't get much done in YouTube. I didn't get much done at all, and then I didn't get much done. I haven't gotten much YouTube stuff done this week. I actually had to call. I had to call Jeopardy and cull all like patron activities for this month because I am getting this audiobook done. Like that's what I'm doing. That's all I do. It's all I do.
So that's your main focus right now is getting.
Yeah, but the problem is I can do very little during the week because I have to watch the baby when I get home from work, and then we get home, we eat, and it's 8:00. And so if I want to do any work, I have to do it post 8 p.m. So I save it for the weekend, and then, as you know, being in the entertainment business, your body does what it needs to do because you have to perform, and then when you have a rest day, it crashes. It was like this way when I did shows all the time, where you get sick the second the shows are over because your body's like you got to push through this week, and now you're sick. And so I spend so many of my weekends sick, and I'm pissed off, Jimmy. So,
you're much more reserved than usual, so I think you're doing a pretty good job of balancing it out.
I'm going to bed the second this is over. I'm going to eat my cold dinner that's right here that I won't eat while we're talking, and then I'm going to go to bed the second it's over and hopefully juice it and get ahead of it. I'm just sick, but I am nearing the end, so it's almost done. So those of you waiting for Prophet of Edan, soon.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Alan is narrating Philip's second. Well, he did his first book and also doing the second, and then the third. Is the plan for you to also do the new book?
The third? Oh yeah, I mean that's what he says. Yeah. The third one.
You said that like you don't trust him.
I mean, I know. Yeah, the third one will be out before the baby's born. I've timed it out with the amount of time I'm going to have because I got to go to nationals because I was elected vice president of the board of the Classical Association of Florida, so now I'm required to go to nationals.
That sounds so pretentious.
I mean, sure, it is. Remember, I'm the biggest snob on my stream. So I have to go to that, and I'm going to be in DC. I'm fairly certain, even though we have no money, we're going to go anyway because we're going to have, why not? Let's all go out.
Go out with the baby.
And then, but I've timed it, and so it's got to be done before the baby is born, the new baby, because when the new baby's born, like I don't know what I'm going to do between. I don't know.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, I haven't been keeping up. Alan is having a second child, and the way Alan, just so eloquently put it, I believe it was because I love living below the poverty line. We are deciding.
Yeah, I said I didn't think we were low. I didn't think we were quite low enough. We weren't enough under the poverty line. So I said, what's the fastest way I can get down to the bottom? And this works. The problem is we're not quite poor enough to where the government thinks we're poor and it'll give us some more money. So I need to have a 3 more kids before the government will be like, hey, you know what? Here's some crackers on us.
So that's all you need, actually. It's just crackers. That's it.
You know what? So, but yeah, Philip and I do have a gentleman's agreement, and I'm super excited because his sequel book is shorter even than Way of Edan.
Love to see it.
That pleases me greatly.
Hey, that's fantastic because me and you are on anti-big book streaks. Both of us trying not to read big books. They seem to happen.
I just read a freaking 700-page book.
Was that Boudica?
It was.
Who wrote Boudica? Who wrote it?
Amanda Scott.
All right. So are we talking about another Stavely situation here? Because your channel it was in the gutter from a read along, and now you decide, hey, we'll do another read along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the first one, the Alchemy trilogy, the Alchemy Wars, worked really, really well. Worked great.
But this one,
so I did not. Man, like, you know what? I love the Brothers Gwyn, and but I'm not certain that they and I jive when it comes to historical fiction, because this is the second top tier, 5-star, greatest of all time historical fiction recommendations I've taken from them. And the first one I DNF'd. I couldn't even finish Gates of Fire. I was like, why is this book about the Battle of Thermopylae one of the most boring things I've ever read in my entire life? And I couldn't read it. I'm done. And this is what I teach. Like, I teach this. And so my issue, Jimmy, a historical fiction should not be more boring than the nonfiction book I read about the time period.
Right.
Like it shouldn't. And I think that is the problem that I've been having recently. It is also possible that I am overly critical of Greek and Roman historical fiction.
Yeah.
But Boudica can be a y'all are gonna make me, seriously, if y'all keep doing what you're doing, counting my rants, I will literally stop. Like, I will stop. I'm not here to bang my cymbal for y'all's amusement. Like, seriously, I'll stop what I'm saying right now, and I'll be like, hey Jimmy, how's West Virginia?
I don't know. I haven't been in a while.
Oh, really? How's Maryland?
I don't know. I haven't been there in a while either.
Aren't you in Maryland?
I would prefer not to get doxxed on the internet.
Oh, that's right. I got it wrong.
You know, I just looked up at my ceiling and there's 2 black smudges on my ceiling and I don't know what they're from.
It's the FBI burrowing into your house to kidnap you.
Dude, it looks like claw marks. That's concerning. That's concerning. You think it's a shadow daddy, possibly?
No, it's a shadow master from the Black Company. Anyway, Boudica is. There are 2 in my review. I'm gonna read 2 Goodreads reviews. One of which did not like it. That expresses many of my issues. One of which loved it, but loved the same things that this other one didn't like. And that's really where it comes down to, is it is just everything that I want out of a historical fiction is not something that she cares about. Okay. And because of that, it's not for me. It's not for me. And that sucks because I wish it was, but it's a read along. So I would continue if they were 300 pages, but each one of them is 600 plus pages. And I'm not gonna trudge my way through 3 more books of 600 plus pages that I didn't particularly care for. So
there's a lot to dissect here, because the first thing I want to say is, like, it sounds like you're kind of throwing shots at Brothers Gwynn. I mean, I'm not. It feels like you really are insulting their integrity.
I'm definitely not. Because we do like some stuff. You know who writes Small Village Britain better than Manda Scott? John Gwynn. Like, oh, okay. I would much rather read the parts before the crap hits the fan in Malice than the stuff. It's just not it's not it. And also the author's like low key insufferable. So
because she's a woman?
I knew that was coming. No, because she's one of these people. She's one of these people who possesses certainty. She is certain about all of her beliefs are certainly the right one. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
I'm not a big fan of certainty. That's one of my least favorite things, probably. Yeah. Do you think you could name 50 women?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Do you want me to?
Go.
Okay. My wife's mom, my wife's grandma. There you go.
Bad start.
My mom. You want me to name them?
No, I'm just saying. Okay. Starting at the median family, already a big red flag. But continue.
Now, you asked me to name women. I'm going to name the ones that are closest. Proximity first.
We're at 4.
So my mom, my stepmom, my cousin Lily, my cousin Riley, my cousin Claire, Christina's best friend. How many is that? We had 9.
We're at 10.
Okay, we're at 10. Okay, so Kickham Morgan, who went with me. I'm assuming female students are out.
Is that 2 names or 1 name?
That's 2 names, 2 different teachers.
Okay.
Female students are out. You're talking about like adult women.
Okay.
Are you saying like?
Yeah, you can't do students. You're a teacher. That doesn't count. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Then so Morgan, Kickham, Gwen, Johnson, Hurst, Dotson, the admins, Bailey, Christopher, and Bailey, Christopher, Flagg, Mandy Van Dellen, one of the counselors, Robinson, another counselor, Campbell, another counselor, Jennifer up front, Stacy up front, the other Stacy up front. Hang on. Thompson. Thomas. Miss Goodge. Dolly Madison, Martha Washington, Martha Jefferson, Abigail Adams. Hold on. Eleanor Roosevelt. Jackie Onassis. How many am I at?
I think you're good. You really came on hard in the second half. I mean, I thought I had you.
Look. So there you go.
Johnny has said you don't have to know them personally, Alan.
I don't? Oh. Well, I mean, I named the presidents at the end, but I was doing the ones I know personally first. And then
you left off Anitha, you left off Evie. I mean, people who have been supportive of you for many years.
Instead of going to Discord, I went to the presidents because it popped into my head. And I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I'll list this. Let's go.
Darius offended.
I wanted to see how many presidents' wives I could remember.
Okay, so I think you dislike Boudica not because it was a female author. I do believe you now. I was worried. But the big takeaway is that you don't trust the Brothers Gwynn and you question them and their integrity. That's not
true. Look, I liked Dreams of Steel, which has a female protagonist, better than I liked the book before it, which does not.
Wait, Dreams of Steel, Black Company?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where are you up to Dreams of Steel now? Right now?
No, I'm on book 7 now. I'm on Bleak Seasons.
Oh my! You're on book 7?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, you're reading a lot.
I read one every month. I didn't read much last month at all because, like I said, I was knocked out and out of town, whatever. I read, what did I read last month? I think I only read 2 books last month. I read The Liberation, which was my read-along book. And then, I reread Augustus because I had never read it like physically. I'd always listened to it. So I reread Augustus, Liberation, and then Dreams of Steel. So I only read 3 books last month. I did not have much time at all. And this month, I've read Pompeii by Robert Harris, who wrote the Cicero trilogy, and it was fine. It was better before the volcano erupts. When the volcano erupts, I'm like, oh, okay.
Spoilers.
Well, like, what was the point of anything that came before? And then I read Dream of the Eagle, Boudica, and now I'm reading Bleak Seasons because that book's coming out in November, but also the arc is out. And so I'm trying to get it done, except for the fact that I'm not going to get more than one done a month. But also, when you ask Tor on NetGalley, Tor is the worst at responding to they'll sometimes refuse you and also take forever to do it. Like, Jimmy, there is a new KJ Parker novella coming out in September. Oh my God. I asked a week ago for an arc review, and they haven't responded. And I'm like, who do you have that is also clicking this button? Like, I'm the only one you have.
I was about to say,
how is it not auto? How have they not put a signal on me that when he does it, he automatically gets it, because there's no one else doing it. Like, no one else is asking.
You actually messaged me. You were mad at me, and you said, "How are you reading an author with KJ as a first name and the last name's not Parker?" Because I'm reading KJ Bishop. That was pretty funny.
That's ridiculous.
I just imagine you reading it, being like, "Oh."
Yeah. It was a nanosecond of disappointment.
So this new Black Company book, and now you've read Black Company many times, front to back. So
yeah, and I keep reading it, and I understand why people don't like it. I really do, but something about it is just like it just feels, especially these later books, it's like Malazan, where I'm confused sometimes, but there's so many fewer words. So it's like I don't have to work quite as hard, and it's not quite as long. And I know I've just upset like the snob crowd is like clutching their pearls. Like all of Philip's viewers, Joanna's viewers, they're all like, "Oh my gosh, he says there's too many words. He's one of those TikTok." I mean, no, but like Toll the Hounds doesn't need to be as long as it is. Come at me. So, I don't know. I just love them. Like hanging out with these fools is exciting. Plus, I've forgotten most of what happens. I know like some really big things that happen because they've stuck in my mind, but everything else I've forgotten. So.
Yeah. I mean, they are quick, and though I will say, even though they're smaller, they don't always read fast for me. I don't always feel like I just breeze through them.
That's true. No, man, I agree. I'm reading this one pretty fast, but like Shadow Games took a while, and Dreams of Steel took a little bit. That's not what I said, but okay.
Garrick thinks Toll the Hound should be longer. Philip is clutching his pearls. I mean, we are dropping some major bombs tonight.
Hey, you know what makes me mad? That Philip finally has an unpopular opinion, and no one takes him to task. Like no one goes and lambasts him.
What, the Grace of Kings?
Yeah, the Philip hates Grace of Kings.
Bro, most people don't like Grace of Kings.
That's not true.
It has not like a 3.6 on Goodreads.
Not in our corner of BookTube though. It's beloved.
Name 5 people who love it. BookTubers.
Evie, Bookborn, Kyle. Evie, Bookborn, Kyle. Who's the other one on our side that read it? Pete. And who's the other one that really likes it? There's another one. Regardless, Bookborn likes it, and she's more popular than Philip. So, how about that? Yeah, so, I mean, the problem is George R.R. Martin's words are generally clearer than our Erickson's. Like Erickson talks about a lot of abstract stuff in a lot of words. So like Martin doesn't really have the Warrens and Kalick. So,
well, Kalick is left out there. That is true.
Yeah, and you know what? Low key, I think parts of Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons, upon my one reading a decade ago, are too wordy. And I think there's probably a couple chapters that don't quite. I personally don't quite need at the beginning of Storm of Swords or beginning of Clash of Kings.
Whoa. Easy.
Easy. What? Here's the thing. I don't need to read about Bran. You can just summarize it for me. Like you can just go ahead and summarize the Bran chapters. I don't enjoy them, and I never enjoyed them. And I've read those first 3 multiple times.
Well, Philip says that he does not hate the Grace of Kings.
Yeah, you like Grace of Kings.
Oh, yeah. I love the Dandelion Dynasty. I'm actually maybe I'm probably not the minority, but I think the first 2 books are better than the last 2 books. I really like the conclusion of the series. I actually think the very ending is amazing, but I think it got a little long in the tooth at one point for me. So it has its blemishes, but it would probably make a top 10 series for me if I had to make a.
I have to read it. It's a patron pick from several months ago, so I will read. It's actually next on my list. As soon as I finish Bleak Seasons, I'm reading Grace of Kings. Unless Tor gets around to giving me that Parker arc, in which case I'll read that. And then my newest patron pick is from Sal. And I already told Sal, I'm like, you're gonna wait 3 months for me to read this when I start it, because it's 1,100 pages. I'm like, Sal, what are you doing? But it's called First Man in Rome, and it's Colleen McCullough's like epic about like 1st century BC. And so I'm not disappointed. It's just gonna take me a really long time to read it.
Yeah, that's actually one I was interested in. I think whenever I was looking up books about Rome, that was like really at the top of the list. And a lot of people say they're big, but they're very readable. I think that's the one that's really readable. I might be thinking of something else, but
it is incredibly detailed. So
yeah, maybe that was it. I think it was the most like people said, if you really want to experience Rome within a story, like this is
there's like 100-page glossary in the back of stuff about Roman like cultural and other stuff. So it's and so I was supposed to have Jeopardy this month, but Jeopardy takes too much of my weekend, and so like I'm not doing Jeopardy, and I'm also not playing video games. I have not played a video game in this month because I'm like, I gotta get this thing done. Like, so I've cut basically everything except reading out until this audiobook is done.
Is there something that like got you to start because I mean you were generally not reading multiple books a month. Like you said only 3, but I mean that's pretty good. Like is there a reason why you're just in the mood?
Yeah, I took back my lunch. I embraced the audiobook, so I end up having to I end up listening to an audiobook at the same time, especially if it's long. And I took back my lunch so I don't get any work done. Like I just refuse. I just won't do any work. So I never grade my papers now. My papers are I turned my grades in a week and a half late. Oh well. And you know what? If they want to fire me for that, Like, the reason I don't have my grades done is because I don't sit down during my class and do them. I teach.
Yeah.
And right now, I try to do stuff fun. And basically, most of the fun stuff I try to do in my classes, I need to realize that they are high schools and ipso facto, by that very fact, are useless. And so it's not fun. I really just need to do it with people on the internet who are not morons. And because right now I'm trying to do, there's this college that this brain trust of people. Okay, that that can't be like. Are you being serious?
That's Matt from Bend the Knee.
I know, Matt.
Me and him have dissected a lot of brand chapters. But continue. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, they do something called reacting to the past, where it's basically do a lot of the stuff the ancients did, where you pretend to be like a character from some pivotal point in history, and you have like debates and you have speeches. You write speeches. Like there's one for ancient Athens and one for the one we're doing is for those of you who read the Cicero trilogy 2 years ago, the Crisis of Catiline, where Catiline, there's a whole lot going on, and it's actually really interesting because right now it's exploring really, really important things that are kind of that are relevant to our modern times, like what at how much if the state is in danger, how much of individual liberties should be suspended to address that crisis. If there is too much of an acclimation or accumulation of land, where you have this vast swath of unemployed citizens creating, crime, basically back in this time. What is the right thing to do? Like, how do you deal with the fact that Rome has become so powerful because it expanded its soldier class? But unlike beforehand, when they returned to their farms because they were wealthy to start with, when all of a sudden the non-land, he does this when I talk for extended periods of time. He just thinks he's talking to me. How these all of a sudden you have a soldier class that was not landed, and so when they stop being soldiers, they don't have any land to return to. So how do you kind of address that? And it's a lot of stuff that is really interesting and kind of timely. Hold on, I'm not doing a good job of talking about the modern questions. Un momento, almost there.
I thought you were doing a pretty good job.
No, I appreciate it. Hold on, I got my little document here. Here we go. So here we go. What constrains those in power or those seeking power? What do the wealthy owe to the poor, or to the state to marginalized citizens? What's the connection between personal behavior and that person's authority in public? How should a government react in a time of instability? How can an administration preserve stability after serious threats have been discovered? When does the preservation of the civil order or necessary change justify the state to violate cherished rights? When does a threat to the state justify action that in quote unquote normal times would be illegal? When can the state use force against threatening but not yet violent citizens? What proof is needed to act against the disfavored, marginalized, or treasonous? So that's what the Romans were experiencing, like back in that time. Like Catiline and his followers were they were ready to topple the thing over. And Cicero, for all of his wisdom, chose to execute the conspirators who had not yet committed violence, but he knew they were planning to. He executed them without trial, and he's theoretically allowed to. They passed a senatus consultum ultimum, the last resort of the Senate. So theoretically, he is allowed to. It just wasn't done. It's one of those extra constitutional powers that was just kind of, it gave the Senate broad executive authority, but didn't specify what it was. Like, so
this feels like something you should definitely make a video on. Like, I think that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem is like my kids in my classical studies class understand a little bit of the nuance because we talk a lot about that in my democracy in Athens class. And these kids understand some because I did an entire semester on Caesar. I see you, bud. I'm going to grab him in a second. But like, again, the nuance of that kind of stuff, they don't they don't really grasp all of the nuance there, because I mean, I think a lot of us like to go to his
He is
mom's
giving
not
you
here.
hell.
He's just look, I gotta get him. He hears me talking, so he's trying to talk to me. 1 second. All right, buddy.
I mean, we all would love to talk to Alan more. He's just insanely busy. Also, those in chat, would you not like to see Alan teach history on his YouTube channel? I feel like that would be fascinating.
He's disgusting, so I can't touch him until my wife cleans him up. Like, I can't. I'll throw up. I'll throw up. Like, I can't. But so they don't like. Many of us just ignore the nuance in geopolitical issues, and we have a tendency to, again, like I was saying before, like everyone's a bad faith actor all the time. At least now. There used to be some time. Atticus, I hear you, my guy. Like, hey, if your mom would clean you up, I'd grab you. Shut up, shut up. Shut up. And anyway, I would love to teach history on my channel. But the problem is he literally waits for me to talk, and then
He's the ultimate troll.
He does.
Philip, I draw the line at Latin. I don't want Alan to teach me Latin.
There's no need for me to teach Latin. You just look on latintutorial.com or YouTube Latin tutorial. I would love to teach history. I just don't know what form it would take, because the problem is, and this is always the problem, and I always have analysis paralysis. The problem is that there are already plenty of history channels that teach what I teach. And there's also plenty of podcasts, which, just let me go ahead and tell you that I loathe the podcast aristocracy. Like, we have in this country now, like, a podcaster class that has somehow been inserted into the caste system, and I loathe them. And I hate that I am, like, theoretically adjacent to them. But, like, I'm just, like, everyone's decisions and beliefs and everyone's system of the thought belief structures are governed by a podcaster class now. Everyone's like, oh, did you hear the podcast or whatever? Oh, let's listen to this podcast. Shut up.
I feel like podcasting has hit that Facebook moment where, like, whenever you saw your grandma try to add you on Facebook, you knew it was over.
Everyone has a podcast.
I mean, we're on a podcast right now, technically.
I understand. That's why I said I'm adjacent. But I'm not talking about someone just getting on a podcast and talking about something they're interested in. That's not really the ruling class. I'm talking about the ones that are talking about things that are important, who don't know what they're talking about. Like,
do you like hardcore history?
Look, you know what, Jimmy? It feels right. I just feel like this is true. Like, it doesn't seem like that's the case right now. Shut your big, fat, stupid mouth and go talk to somebody who cares, or which is clearly, millions of people. Anyway, hardcore history. No, I don't. Everyone always tells me I have a problem, Jimmy, and I don't know what the problem is. For some reason, if someone tells me to listen to someone, I don't. Like, I don't want to listen to someone talk about something that I'm interested in. Like, I just don't know why. Like, I don't want to listen to this person who I guess is better than me at it, that everyone's always like, oh, just listen to that. But the thing is, that's why I don't make a history video. Why would I do that? It's just hardcore. Just go listen to hardcore history.
Well, he doesn't really cover what you're talking about, though. Like, he's not, it's really not that much of an overlap at all, I would say.
No, he covers, all he talks about is freaking Roman crap. Well, no, I guess he talks about other stuff too.
No. He talks about World War I a lot. DK Moon said, channels already do books better than you guys, but we still watch y'all.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
Don't worry. This ship is about to go down, so you don't have to worry about that being around much longer. Hello, Atticus. For our video people. He looks cleaned up now. He looks good. And now look, he has nothing to say. He has nothing to say now.
He was sitting in the kitchen by himself, and I was talking. But anyway, so I don't like hardcore history. Already does it. There's already plenty of podcasts on Greece and Rome. You have Overly Sarcastic Production, which has fun little anime visuals while they talk about mythology and Greek and Roman history. You have Kings and Generals, which is hugely high production values. And you have Invicta, which is another one that does a ton. And it's just like, I just don't know what I can do. I mean, I can just talk like I do in my class, but then like, what form does that take? Do I just film myself teaching for 20 minutes and then record it? Do I wait till I have a whole arsenal of costumes that I can, dress in for bits, in which case
That
I
would
don't
be
have any
really
money.
good. That would
It
be very
would, but I
good.
don't have any money. Like we have, it is very frustrating. We have 2 full-time workers, and we had a bunch of stuff hit at the same time. At the same time, our flood insurance renews. Christina's life insurance renews. We had the money for the pregnancy hit because Christina's a $7,000 deductible. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I don't like. Do I just do it on stream? So I at least have people reacting to it. But then again, teaching. I don't like sitting down and teaching. I'm a very animated teacher. It's already hard. I've realized that after I'm done with Philip's books, I've got to invest, if I want to continue to do this, I've got to invest in a way to do it standing up, because every voice is easier for me to do standing than it is sitting down, because you're not, I guess, compressed or whatever. Yeah, Historia Civilis is fantastic. I love Historia Civilis. They're my favorite one. They're actually the only history channel I watch. There's History Hits, which is, I wish I could dislike because they're doing something that I like, except for that one of the guys on that wrote the history book I'm currently reading, and it has no business being as good as it needs to be. And that's the problem. When I'm reading this and I'm more interested and on the edge of my seat in what's happening than I am in Boudica, which is a fiction novel, it's just like, you're doing something wrong, guys.
Well, I think that's also one of your strengths, right? Is that you present history in a manner that isn't boring. Like you spice it up, you make it more lively. And I think delivery matters a lot, especially whenever you're educating someone. I mean, you know this. You communicate every day with people who have no interest in what you're talking about, and you have to try to get them interested. So,
yeah, I mean, and it like seriously, and I try, I am not a horn tutor. I'm not. I have a really hard time self-promoting. I just do. But first of all, Sam, you're right. More money, more problems is garbage. More money, less problems. But we got to the death of Alexander. And Alexander the Great's been having a psychic break since the Oasis at Siwa, where he decided that Zeus was his dad and not Philip of Macedon. And he annoyed them so much. When I got to the death of Alexander, I'm not kidding you, a room full of 27 high schoolers applauded for 30 seconds straight. It was the loudest cheering and applauding I've ever had in that class. And I couldn't believe that so many of them were so anti-Alexander. But man, they were so happy that guy was dead. They were so happy he was dead. And that's because of I don't know. It's just because of how I present it. And
so you're answering your own question, though.
What?
You're like, well, why would what would I do? Why would I do it? I mean, if you can get some teenagers to applaud history class, I think you could probably entertain quite a few people.
I mean, it would only work if someone watched every episode, and also it's also I feed off of their responses. If I realize that they like or that they dislike a character, I'll just I'll kind of tilt them one way or the other. You know what I mean? If I feel there's a character that I know they're going to hate or betrays later, I'll make sure he doesn't appear sketchy to start with. I'll make sure he's hitting it. I'll make sure, or if I know there's a character that dies that I know they're going to like, I will just insert random vignettes of them, playing Mario Kart with these other hostages that have been taken by Philip, and I'll just every now and then I'll refer. And yeah, so Amyntas IV and Curse of Leptes Jr., old CJ, and Alexander, they grew up together playing Mario Kart. And Curse of Leptes like, man, I don't know why I gotta stick with Donkey Kong, man. I I don't like playing Donkey Kong. And Amyntas IV's like, dude, you don't gotta play Donkey Kong. Here, you can borrow my controller. And Alex is like, I want to play. It's like, Alex, we only got 2 controllers, and I'll just go off like that for 3 minutes. All building it up because I know one of those guys is going to die later, and then they'll be really upset. So it's stuff like that it's history for high schoolers. It's Hellenic history for high schoolers, which is why, I have a freaking dork in one of my classes who's like, well, actually, he wasn't actually that. He really only had like a mild disability. Because I'm like, because he's one of these people that listens to hardcore history and his Persian history podcast, and is always trying to correct me. And I'm like, Matthew, I don't care. Like, I don't care. My job, I'm a history teacher trying to get high schoolers interested in ancient history. So why would I not use the version of this that is most interesting? Because all modern historians are trying to do, all they're trying to do is make history as boring as possible. Being like, oh, well, Homer was not really a blind poet. It's actually a combination of several different people, like shut up.
So
like,
are you a fan of the pyramid, the building under the pyramid, the structure under the pyramid?
I don't care. I don't know enough about it. It's not my.
It's not true at all, but people are running with it. It's pretty good.
My problem is there is nothing wrong with embellishment that does not alter history. Now, making someone besides Philip of Macedon, Alexander's dad, David Gemmell, like, that's too much. You're doing too much at that point. Like,
you're a Gemmell hater officially now, right? You tried two of his books?
I just don't like Lion of Macedon because it just makes a Macedonian who was nowhere near Thebes the one who beats the Spartans, and it's not true. Like, it's just too far afield. So everyone still does the stuff they're supposed to do in my class, but I also add stuff in between, and also I personalize them. So we're in the successors post Alexander. Perdiccas is a drunk who is forced to become like an evil mastermind. Ptolemy is the Egyptian, the sly, like crafty, quiet one who's trying to take down the other guy. You have this one guy who's just like, we hadn't talked about him much, but he's been there the whole time. He is like the thug who's like, oh man, Pathon's gonna go form himself Pathatopia out there in the upper satrapies. And he fails, and people are like, no, Pathon. He's like, oh, Perdiccas, he got me good there. He got me good. And we've got anyway, just give them all like really exaggerated personalities, and they buy into it. I can't have everybody just be competent, though they love the competent people too. Old man Antipater, who's 79 and punching Greeks in the face, they love.
What?
They love it. There's this the regent Alexander left behind. His name's Antipater, but I call him Antipater. And he's 79. And he's leading an army. And I left off, like I had to stop on Thursday because I didn't go to school today. Yesterday, I left it off. Antipater is outnumbered by the Athenians who are rebelling against against Macedon. He's outnumbered by 11,000. And some of them who hate Antipater are like, oh, old man's going to get it now. I had to leave it. And they're like, no. I'm like, guys, I'm literally out of time. Like, I don't have time to finish. But I'm like, you'll find out Wednesday because we have a review and a test Monday and Tuesday. So you'll find out Wednesday if Antipater finally gets his. So
79 had to be ancient for Rome. I assume Rome's life expectancy was shorter.
Rome. This is ancient Greece. This is even before Rome.
So like, what was the life expectancy like back then?
So when you look at average life expectancy, same thing with the medieval period, it is drastically affected by the incredible infant mortality. So if you survived your first 2 years of life, you had a really good shot of living. Cicero's wife, Terentia, lived to be 102, Jimmy. 102 in the 1st century BC. Like,
that's wild.
I know. So, 79. Now, 79 is really old for that time period. 79 and being a general, still leading troops, is insane. And his main opponent in Athens right now is also 79. So it's just two old dudes like duking it out. Also, more satraps, more problems. 100% correct. Most satraps, mo problems. Absolutely.
So anyway, you haven't not been able to find a historical fiction set in that time period that you've really enjoyed. So
no. Cicero. No. Cicero trilogy.
Cicero you liked.
No. The Cicero trilogy is phenomenal, and Augustus. But
so other than the one you already mentioned, is there any other ones that you're wanting to try out that you've had on your list?
So I have. So Con Eagledon, I heard his Greek stuff was better than his Roman stuff. I heard his Genghis Khan stuff is good. but Con Eagleton wrote Nero, a new one. Yeah, it is aura farming, and that's the thing. I use terms like that in my lectures, and the kids, like, because the kids will just be like, "Friggin' anti-potter out there aura farming." Anyway, I read Con Eagleton's Nero, and anyway, sorry if y'all were talking to me. I didn't look at any of those comments, so you'll have to say them again if you were saying anything. Anyway, that's why I like teach when I teach. But I did not like Con Eagleton's Nero at all, like at all. And I don't want to read his Julius Caesar thing because he literally made Julius Caesar the half brother of Brutus, the one that kills him, and that's ridiculous. Like I don't mind alterations. I don't mind alterations of actual history, but I don't know why they don't change stuff for the better. They always make it worse. Like, if it's worse than the real thing, keep the real thing. But he does have a Greek quartet about the invasion of Greece by Xerxes and the first Peloponnesian War, which has Pericles and Themistocles, which are two big ones for me. So maybe those. Sal always recommends some like murder mystery ones. Like there's like 3 sets of murder mystery books set in ancient Rome, and they're fine. I've listened to a couple of them, which are fine. Carlos and Yolanda. The Gates of Athens is the ones I'm talking about. Gates of Athens is the first of those 4. The Lion is the Pericles one, which is book 3, I think. But so I've liked the Roman history ones better than the Greek history ones so far. But I haven't read a ton of Greek ones, but we'll see.
Evie wants to know if you're nervous to read Tom Holt's Nero. And for those who don't know, Tom Holt is actually KJ Parker in his attempt to actually sell books, writing underneath a different name.
I think he's sold way more as Tom Holt than he has as KJ Parker.
That doesn't surprise me.
Anyway, for all of you who heard me talk about history, like, if y'all have any ideas on how I should ever structure that, like if I should do them live and have y'all, I guess, come in the chats or whatever, I don't know. But I really like it because I also get to talk about the nuance of geopolitics, because kids, they are TikTok warriors. They are TikTok activists. TikTok tells them what their opinion is, and they are militant about it. And I'm like, guys, do you actually know the myriad different situations that go in to the declaration of a war? Like, do y'all know any of that, or are you just listening to your influencers? Like, it is just such an excellent view. Is what dragged Greece into world war in the Peloponnesian War is fascinating. Like, and the people who desperately tried to stop it, and you just couldn't stop the avalanche of history. Like, you just couldn't. Like, people tried, and if you look back, if you're going to stop it, you've got to go back like 150 years before it actually happened. And someone needed to not do something then. There's just so much that goes into it. And, most people, there are some people who are like, you know what, I don't care. Let's send the citizenry through the grinder. But most people probably give it a thought or two before sending their entire citizenry to die on the sword of somebody else.
It is interesting that you have to look back in time to realize when things first actually started, because there's the butterfly effect. And you could probably, you could do this forever. But at some point you say this is the significant piece. That's one of the things that I've always found really interesting about A Song of Ice and Fire is that, Robert's rebellion and the tourney of Harrenhal are very pivotal moments, but they're not in the book. They're only perceived by people who talk about them in past tense, which is really fun.
Game of Thrones is such a really good example. The War for the Iron Throne is a really good example of exactly what I'm talking about. What's the cause? What caused it? What caused the War of the Iron Throne?
I mean, so you're talking about Robert's rebellion, right?
The subsequent one. Like the easy decision, the easy choice is Robert's death. Okay, yeah. Robert's death allowed there to be a war.
John Aaron.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. There is so much that goes into that, and the history before it. Like, how's Robert even there? Like, what happened beforehand that got Robert there? If Robert wasn't there, we wouldn't have this conflict right now. Like, that's
the Mad King is very much, I would say, where you would probably say ground zero. But
I Claudius I also like. Sorry. Yeah, I like Claudius.
Oh, yeah. You read that last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it a lot. But yeah, that's another one. World War One is the classic example, because it's not just the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. Like, there's so much that just like caused those dominoes to start falling. It's very similar to the Peloponnesian War.
It's one of the
And
reasons why I like when fantasy books have historical events in them. Like some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to know everything that happened beforehand." I do actually. If it's going to be big in scope, I generally like to have an idea of what was going on in the world before I started reading and popping into like this person's eyes. Like making sure that it feels like things have happened in the setting prior to me picking up the book is very important to me.
yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, like it's so important to know everything that went into it. On my tests for this particular war, I say, "What do you think of Pericles' decision to do this in the war or to declare war, whatever?" And then I'm like, "What would you have done differently?" Because when they start coming down on him, like it's his
Hmm.
fault, I'm like, "Okay, how would you have handled it differently?" Well, like I'd have gone and fought Sparta in the field. I'm like, and you would have been destroyed. Like you would have been destroyed. The reason, like, you don't think Pericles thought of fighting Sparta? That didn't occur to them. Like, I should fight Sparta. I should go up against Sparta's army. Why don't I just stage a battle? You don't think that occurred to him? He would have gotten crushed. Crushed. He had to pick something different. What would you have done? And they're like, yeah, exactly. Every now and then someone's like, and I'm like, oh, nice. That he could have done that. We don't know how it would have turned out, but he could have. I agree. I agree, Andre. This is why I love Song of Ice and Fire also.
Yeah, so I've been reading the Tainted Cup series. I don't know what it's called. I always forget what the actual. I think it's Leviathan something, but it's by Robert Jackson Bennett, and they're kind of like Sherlock Holmes mysteries with a
Yeah.
lot of world building put into them. And it's not the greatest mysteries of all time, and I have things about it that kind of bother me. But the one thing I will say is it feels like the world has had a history prior that I was in it, and I'm very interested in the history because we're talking about an empire and the second book takes place at the place that is not quite taken by the empire yet, but they're in the process of becoming part of the empire. And so they have a new town and an old town, one that follows the old customs and one has new. And I'm just like, oh, and the whole conflict revolves around that relationship of this place to the empire. And it's really, really good. Though, I don't have a bunch of hyperbolic statements to say about it other than the fact that like it's just been a ton of fun to
That's what I
read.
love about political fantasy,
Hmm.
because like I do like the courtly machinations, like I do like that, but so very rarely can an author capture the movings of nations, how one thing how this nation seizing this nation's port affects everything. The seizing of a single port affects everything. And when it's done, I love it. I love it when I see it because it's hard to do. I mean, I'm not trying to dog on people. It's hard.
No, it's very difficult, especially to make it believable. And I mean, you also have to be entertaining while you're doing it. And, that's why some people don't even like care for it at all. But Midnight Tides, right?
Yeah.
They're
Oh, for sure.
clubbing the
Oh, yeah,
seals
yeah.
or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, the clubbing the seals that causes
I
the
mean,
domino.
massive issues,
Yeah.
right? Pretty much
And
the destruction of an entire family or tribe in some ways. That's why I love Midnight Tides so much, though. I actually started reading it as a standalone reread.
that's
I've
awesome.
been going through it pretty slowly, but I just forgot how organic the start of the conflict is, and it's something that I've seen people be like, "That's such a stupid like catalyst," but I think it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. It's, I love it. I also love what they do with the fantasy economics in Midnight Tides. Um just how Bug and what's his name, T-Hole play with
Yeah.
the economy. Um, yeah, I agree, Ross.
Jenna Rose
It,
Reeves has a cool question. Said, would you say that a history of the world is part of world building, or does the world history stand on its own? I think it depends on how much there is of it.
yeah, I also think it depends on like what you're trying to do as a writer. Like you don't need like if what's happening currently stands on its own, like you don't necessarily need all of that if that's not the story you're trying to tell. Um, like not we don't need that for every particular tale. I
Mm.
think it adds to it, but it also could be really boring. So it has to be done with adept hands, and it has to matter. Otherwise, you're just giving a history lesson.
Yeah.
So You know what I mean?
You don't do it to just do it, which I mean
If I
seems
disappear, I've
rather
gone in the
obvious.
kitchen to get something to drink, and I can still hear you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. Um, you know, we talked about Dandelion Dynasty a little bit earlier, but I think that's one of the biggest hurdles that series has is that Grace of Kings works as like a sweeping historical epic with like personal vendettas and feuds at the very baseline of it that go all the way through the end of the book. But in a lot of ways, Grace of Kings is like your catalyst events that end up setting up everything that comes after in books 2, 3, and 4, which is why it's such a hard series to recommend, because you do have to get through Grace of Kings, I think, to get to the more of what the vision is for the series in some points. But I couldn't help when I read Dandelion Dynasty just continuously going back to Grace of Kings and thinking about all the things that had happened. And Grace of Kings moves at a clip. You know, it's broad. The characters can be, for some people, a little flat. I don't know if I would call them flat necessarily, but it's all the catalyst for books 2, 3, and 4, and you kind of have to get it out of the way. And maybe he could have done it a little bit different, but I actually enjoyed the way it was written. So that would be another example for folks who are, you know, thinking about reading stuff like this, or has this kind of history to it. I'm trying to think of other things. I mean, Black Company's world feels pretty lived in, I would say. There's a lot of history there, and you learn things at the right times, you know, like finding out that there was other parts of the Black Company out there. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but like, you're like, I didn't know there was a lineage. This is insane. And Black Company has a new, so can you tell people, because I feel like, you know, people are talking about The Devils by Abercrombie, whatever. I'm excited for that. But like, I feel like there's not a lot of talk about the new Black Company stuff, at least that I'm seeing. So maybe I'm just closed off. But what is it? Like, what is he doing?
It is a continuation. So the last book of the Black Company, the last book of the original Black Company series came out in 2000 or 2001. 2000, I think. I read it senior in high school. Me and my buddy were waiting for it. And then 18 years later came Port of Shadows. And it's not entirely Glenn Cook's fault. The reception of Port of Shadows is bad. Like, it's not poor, it's bad. All we had to feed on, and by we, I mean people, not me. I tend not to read short stories, though I bought them recently. A lot of the only Black Company content we got was short stories, basically there is a segment of short stories that is very well regarded called On the Long Run, and it takes place between books 2 and 3. When they are on the run from whatever they're on the run in at the beginning of book 3. And those are really well regarded, but those have never been put in a compilation. They've never been released as a compilation. There's another set of short stories that is not really they're not as related as the On the Long Run ones. But from what I read is that in fact, if you look at the wiki of these stories, they were reworked to be combined to make Port of Shadows, which I think is probably one of the reasons that Port of Shadows isn't very good, because they are reworked short stories that were never meant to be this book. The other complaint is that people think that he forgot how to write Croker, because, you know, it had been a long time. So this new one, everyone is on pins and needles about. I have not read Port of Shadows, so I have no way to confirm or deny. I have it, but I've not read it, and I'm not going to read it before I read this new one. It goes back, like it takes place also between book 2 and 3, I think, or book 1 and 2, one of the two. This new one is a first of a 4-book series that follows book 10. So it has the potential to be good. Like, first, we don't have to feel about like, oh, that's not how Croker felt in book 2. You know what I mean? Here it's post book 10. So any characters that were, you know, we don't have to go back and get the feeling of that or whatever. So I'm hoping it'll be good. It's called Lies Weeping, and it comes out in November.
So it's a proper sequel then.
Yeah, it's a proper sequel quartet. But the problem is like, Black Company isn't a series that has buzz. It's like it ended in the year 2000.
So is this going to be a new entry point for people though? Like, are people just
no?
So he's straight up doing
it. If you don't even read the blurb, it completely spoils the entire first series in the blurb. Don't even read the blurb.
What? Whose idea was this?
Like, Glenn Cook. Let me tell you how much Glenn Cook cares. He does not care about you. Glenn Cook is a hardened Vietnam vet who, if he is catnapping and you shake his shoulder, he is going to snap your neck. Like, he is a grizzled, he doesn't care. He's like, guess what? We're continuing. It's a 10-book series that ended 25 years ago. Got to know every bit of it before we continue. Let's do it. 4 more. Come on. So, I did hear that.
Yeah, Mitch says, pretty sure 4 are written already. Might have been for years. There was some weird stuff with the publisher, I think. Yeah, I mean, that sounds likely, but it still doesn't make the fact that it's not a new entry. You know what I mean? Like, it's just unfortunate because there's so many people who probably are like, oh, I'd like to read something new from Glenn Cook.
Thanks, Ross.
But, unless if you've read
I'd
all
like
the
to try
millions of
Glenn
others.
Cook, but I don't want to read 14 books. Maybe I can start here. No, that's not true. It's not like Grave Empire that you don't have to read the Empire of the Wolf to read it. It is not like that. There's no way you can jump in. There's no way you can jump in Lies Weeping.
I totally plan on catching up with Black Company. I don't think I'll be ready. I don't think. I know I will not be caught up for the release. But since there's 4 of them, if they are already written, are we going to expect like 1 a year or something?
I would imagine, like, I hope at least 1. If they're already written and we don't get 1 a year, that's ridiculous.
They better be short.
Let me see how long Lies Weeping is.
Because so help me God. If
the longest is,
if he conforms to the 600, 700 page book, I'm going to be furious.
Well, 8, 9, and 10 are already 500 pages. 8, 9, and 10. Now, but Jimmy, I will say they need to be. There's a lot going on in books 8, 9, and 10. Book 8. Book 8, I love. There's war. Like, book 8 is almost entirely a war. Like, I love book 8 because it's just like, book 9 starts very slow, but the payoff is so worth it. Book 9, a lot of people bounce off of book 9 because how slow it starts, but it's such good payoff.
Okay, that makes me feel better. And I will say, I think if anyone like earns words, it's Glenn Cook. Like, he does not use
384 pages. 384 pages for Lies Weeping, dude.
All right. Glenn
so
Cook
Jimmy,
back in the kitchen.
You're not going to be caught up by the first one, but we definitely need to read the second one together. Like, you'll be caught up by the second one come out.
Yeah, I should be. Actually, to go against the narrative, I don't read book 2s, which I've been doing a good job of. I'm reading 2 sequels right now, and both sequels are better than the first book, which is pretty great.
What are you reading?
I am reading The Hunter by Tana French, which is a follow-up to The Searcher, which I think Tana French won my New Author to Me award in my Nutties for 2024. And I am finding that The Hunter is not weighed down by having to set up the story. It's just a continuation of The Searcher. It's kind of like a whole new thing. Like, it feels like a new tale, but all of the groundwork for the character relationships are kind of out of the way. I think it's really good. I'm only maybe 100 pages in, so I'm still early on, but really loving that. And I'm reading Drop of Corruption, which is the sequel to Tainted Cup. And I think that it's also so far better than book 1. So
that's awesome.
It's very rare for me to feel like a sequel is actually better than a first book, but these would be 2 major exceptions. And Forest Mage, Mitch, by the way, for the Soldier Son trilogy, I got to say, I've been kind of thinking about it a little bit more. So I would like to just keep pumping out these sequels. The series I keep talking about, and I feel terrible because I keep talking about it and I won't do it, is Lamentations, or the Psalms of Isaac by Ken Scholes, I think is actually how you say it. I think I've been saying Scholes forever, and it's actually Scholes. I very much want to continue that series. Very similar to what we were talking about earlier about geopolitical and the decisions here and there. That series has all of that. And I think that a lot of the world building in that is pretty neat as well. Murph said, yes, Tana French, did you read her Dublin Murder Squad books? I have not, but I have one of them, The Trespasser, I believe. And Mrs. Nuts is going to read that first, and then she's going to read the ones that I've read. So I plan on reading the Dublin Murder Squad, which I believe they all stand alone, which is pretty cool. Tana French is great. I think Alan, I think you might like Tana French. I think you could get behind it.
What is Tana French?
Tana French is an Irish author who writes crime. And
I do like crime books.
Yeah, so Dublin Murder Squad actually has a book that's set from where Carlos from StoryTube is from. And he said it's extremely accurate. All the pub talk, everything about it is very authentic.
You're
They're
doxing.
just,
You're gonna get Carlos doxed here.
I mean, there's only like 12 people in Ireland, so and he's one of them. So,
cool. Someone needs to throw it on my patron pick. Because the thing is, here's the thing. Like, the reason I like the patron pick and why I brought it back is it makes me read things faster than I would normally read them. Like, I was never going to get to Grace of Kings. I was really never going to end up getting to First Man in Rome because it's so freaking long. This is why I like, I like having to do that stuff. Actually, the Robert Jackson Bennett, I'm considering replacing the Boudica read along. So anybody who wants to continue with Boudica in my server is welcome to. I'll keep a channel open. Really, I want Sal to read it so she can tell me if my problems with it are fixed in booktube. But I'm considering picking up instead, replacing the last 3 book read-alongs here with his City of Stairs trilogy, Robert Jackson Bennett, because they're short and I heard they're good. So
now that I've read these 2, I'm about to finish the second one. I'm like, oh, I'm going back and reading that.
Yeah,
here's the thing. I have issues with his writing at times, and there's some things he does that actually annoy me. But I'll be danged if I'm just not I'm having fun reading, and that's all that matters. Because right now,
that was me with Foundry Side. It's the only thing I've read by him.
Oh, you read Foundry Side? See, that one I didn't have a ton of interest in based on the premise. Now the City of God, whatever his other one is, sounds very interesting.
That sounds so cool.
Well, when are you going to start that read along? Next month?
Next month.
I don't know if I can. How it's 300 pages, 400 pages, something like that.
Less than 400.
Put me down as a maybe. Put me down as a maybe.
If you do get it, you can come on and talk about it.
You're going to have me on your channel?
Mm-hmm.
Alan, do you realize the disparity between our appearances? Like, Jimmy, you had me on Jeopardy once, which I did a great job at, by the way.
You did. Jimmy, you don't read anything I read. I can't bring you on the channel to talk about it.
Well,
when you don't
that's
read
not
it.
True. I read Curse of Chalion, which you did as well. And you, like me.
I didn't talk about Curse of Chalion.
Well, not yet.
I didn't have a discussion about it.
I'd have to reread it at this point. But, you and I have the exact same feelings about that book. We're like, I think I rated it 4 stars. You rated it 4 stars. And I'm like, I think that's actually a 5-star book.
I think it is.
I think it's actually a 5-star book. I think I might have wanted something else from it that I don't know what it was. But when I think about that book in its totality, it is pretty excellent.
I agree.
We should read Paladin of Souls together.
Okay. No. Hold on. We're scheduled to read aren't we scheduled to read in June? The 1,000 Samurai of Jacob.
1,000 Autumns of Jacob something. Yes. The only thing is, and I've read the prologue.
Oh, okay. Is
it you not have good? You have to skip the prologue.
I do.
I loved it. You will not like it. Like, honestly, Alan. Alan, I think you're gonna love David Mitchell. This prologue is so out of left field for him, and I'm like, why does this have to be the first thing that Alan reads from David Mitchell?
Guys, you heard it here. Now I'm gonna read. In fact, guys, I'm gonna read it on a sprint. I'm gonna read that.
Oh, right. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Read on a sprint. I'm not gonna read it out loud. I'm gonna read it silently during the sprint so you can see my reaction.
It is disgusting. And it is so. That's the thing. You're gonna read it and go, oh, Jimmy's reading weird stuff again. He has never done anything like this, and I'm like, why does this have to be the very first thing Alan reads?
Page, I'm gonna say Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy. You're gonna tell me it. You're gonna be like, I'm not reading this. Can I just summarize it for you on a sprint? Can we do that when we start it?
Maybe. Regardless, there's a lot of buzz here for City of Stairs. There's some people who are interested in picking it up. So Jimmy, if you can get to it, it'd be cool. If you get to it, I'll throw you on the discussion.
Free? It's free on Audible.
Is it really? Oh, definitely going for it then now. Yeah, I'm doing it now. All right, so you heard it here. Replacing the read along with the City of Stairs. I will read City of Stairs in May, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. I think we should do 1,000 Autumns of Jacob, whoever, in July, because we're both very busy. Well, you're busy in July too, though.
August. Let's do August.
All right, let's do August.
I'll be sitting at home. I'll probably take a week off of work to help take care of the baby. So
that's perfect. And I would love to read more David Mitchell because I've already read 2 of his books. I'm nervous though. I'm going to run out soon. Makes me concerned. Curse of Chalion is so good, Anitha. I agree. And just so everybody knows, City of Stairs free on Audible. That is a huge win because I won't have an audiobook after I finish The Hunter. And also, Carlos says from StoryTube, Dublin is a small place. My accent isn't hiding anything. That's pretty good. Evie said, I need Alan to buddy read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry with me. Alan, I'll send you a copy for when it comes out on Tuesday. I don't think that's going to go the way you want it to go. I don't think that's going to work out for you. But hey, Paladin of Souls, you and I need to read that together because I've been staring at it on my shelf and I've heard it's better than Curse of Chalion. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard it is. Very interested. I think Bijold is an author that once I start getting the wheels spinning, like I'm going to go into her sci-fi. Like I'm going to try to read most of the things that she's written because she's definitely talented. You can tell just by Curse of Chalion alone. Also, not a very long book, which I'm a pretty big fan of nowadays. She Was Only Evie asked, Jimmy, I'm having a brain fart. Did you read Annihilation? And if so, did you love it? I'm just halfway into it and really enjoying it. Yes, I read Annihilation and I did love it. And that is also another series. I said I was not going to read the sequels, but I think I own them. I bought them all. And then after I read Annihilation, I had a bunch of comments and they were like, don't read the sequels. They suck. I think I'm going to read them because like I should form my own opinion anyways. But yes, I really like Annihilation, the book and the movie. I thought the movie was good. Daniel says, I read City of Stairs right after it came out, then never continued the series. Now I don't remember what happened. What's a good time to reread, Daniel? We got the read along coming. What is this disgusted look on your face, Alan? No, don't read it. Don't read it. I'm begging you not to read it.
Jimmy.
I told you.
Jimmy.
I told you.
Jimmy.
I told you.
This is a kind of trashy read, Jimmy.
I know. Listen, I guarantee the rest of the book ain't going to have anything like that in it. I hope it does. I've read 4 or 5
Jimmy,
Mitchell books.
Why is that the prologue?
I don't know. That's what I said. I'm like, so I will say this. Once you finish prologue, it's pretty interesting where he goes with it. But I'm like,
I read the first 2 pages, Jimmy.
Pretty good, right?
It does not waste any time, Jimmy.
Oh, I told you. It's absolutely morbid. I mean, it's diabolical, to say the least. Oh, hey, James says, Jimmy, mentioned I bought Cloud Atlas because of you in a past stream. I read it this past month, liked it a lot, have the 1,000 Autumns ready for a future read. Well, you can join us in August.
Why don't you go ahead and read the first 2 pages for me, James, and then tell me how Cloud Atlas that is.
It's nothing like Cloud Atlas. Now, you would not like Cloud Atlas. You would like sections of Cloud Atlas. I think you would. Cloud Atlas. Timothy Cavendish, you should just read his part. I think you would lose your mind. He would become a new character in the Allen sphere, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh,
dang.
Yeah. BBC drama type character. Very funny. Would definitely fit in a Remains of the Day spinoff comedy, like something like that. Where does Remains of the Day rank in your top books of all time? It's got to be high up there, right?
You'll see. I'm actually
Oh no, you're gonna hit me with the wait and find out.
That's no, I just don't know. So what I'm doing is, I've been on BookTube 5 years, and I don't do a ton of top 10 stuff. And I certainly don't need to update my top 100 books every 3 months. But I figure I've read a lot of books since I've been on BookTube. So I'm gonna do my top 100 books that I've read on BookTube. So it can't count rereads. So the only Terry Pratchett City Watch book I can include on there is Snuff, because I read all of them before joining BookTube.
Now that was a sequel to Skull, right?
No, it's a sequel to
Copenhagen.
Nope, it's a sequel to Thud.
Oh, okay.
Shut up. It is. It does have double meaning though. But yeah. So it'll be on there because it's certainly in the top 100 books I've read on BookTube. I like Remains of the Day a lot. So we'll see where it goes.
I've been wanting to do top 10s as well, but I know that when people post it, they get a certain vibe from it. But I've just always wanted to do them.
As I've said in my rants before, people assume like no one listens to nuance. No one, even when I talk about it. When I talk about top 10 lists, I talk about incessant top 10 lists. I talk about updated top 10 lists repeatedly. I'm talking about like every 3 months there's a new one of I'm talking about
I think like a yearly update's really fine.
I don't have a problem with the yearly top 10 list. I don't have a single problem with that. I do have a problem with updating your top 100 every year. That's ridiculous. Stop. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, Jake Bishop.
It's ridiculous. You don't need to do it.
I don't think he redid it. But
but I don't have a problem with top 10s. I have a problem when they're clearly being used to juice your overlord, the algorithm. That's
what the people want.
But the thing is, it's not really what the people want. Like it's what the algorithm feeds up to them. Because here's the thing: you don't need to watch it. You don't need to watch it. It's the same as last time. If you already watched this YouTuber, it's the same as last time, or it is the exact 10 most popular books on BookTube right now. There you go. Done. That's always the answer. Now, you watch mine, and it's a bunch of books no one's read. You watch yours, it's a bunch of books no one's heard of.
I think for me, I'll just keep it to top 10. Top 100 is too big of a commitment.
Yeah, I'm
also too fickle.
Oh, I'm looking at it. I have 159. Like I already went through the ones that I got rid of that I'm like, I know are not on it. And now I'm like, well, how am I supposed to narrow this down? So I'm just going to have to figure it out.
You have to do a top 159.
Expect that in 2027 because it's been.
It'll be filmed this year, but posted in 2020.
No. I'm not even sure how long it's going to take me to get it done.
I want to see what you think of this question from Jason Brogan. It was a bit ago, but I started because I want to come back to it. He said, how do you rank the last 4 Malazan books? I'm on Bone Hunters now and curious about the rest of the series.
All right. So I think that Malazan peaks of the Bone Hunters. If someone comes at you for that opinion, they are snobs. Because, there are a lot of people who think that it does not reach the acme of...
It's 5, right? If Bone Hunters is included, right?
Bone Hunters is 6.
Yeah. Bone Hunters, Reaper's Gale, Toll the Hounds, Dust the Dreams, Cripple God. It's 5.
He said the last 4. He's talking about after Bone Hunters.
After Bone Hunters. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. Continue. My apologies.
So how would I rank them? Crippled God, Dust of Dreams.
That's Erickson sending you a message.
Crippled God, Dust of Dreams, and Reaper's Gale. I put basically the same. Toll the Hounds is a distant 4th for me. It's my least favorite of the Malazan books.
It's one of your least favorite books of all time, right?
It's not one of my least favorite books of all time. No, it's not.
You hate it.
I don't. No, I don't. In fact, a lot of my least favorite books of all time are historical fiction. Like they end up being historical.
Going back to the Brothers Gwyn disc. My goodness. Good
I love the Brothers Gwyn. So,
all right. Well, for me, the way I would rank them would be
Ben. You know that I've read the Hexologist. Ben's just forgotten. Yes, I've read it. Ben.
Last place, Reaper's Gale. Position 3, Cripple God. Position 2, Dust of Dreams. That's the hottest take, probably. And then 1 would be Toll the Hounds. Me and you are very, very opposite.
Gross.
But I enjoy navel gazing quite a bit.
Nope, you're being blinded. You have been indoctrinated by those last 300 pages.
No, I like the whole thing.
Nope, you've forgotten the 800 pages before. You've forgotten it. Read it again. Read it now.
I'm a man of taste, Alan. Okay.
Bad taste.
I mean, I didn't say it was good. I'm not disagreeing at all.
Yeah, you're right.
One thing I can say is I don't have a loud exhaust on my car.
Oh my God. Why? Like I asked that in my Discord because I genuinely want to know if it is not something that is just broken on your car and you can't afford to fix it, which I completely understand. What is the point of having a loud car? And because I'm trying to be charitable, I'm trying not to have it be because they have some deep-seated need for attention or have small genitalia or have little man syndrome or what's the reason for it?
I'm right
here. I mean, okay, Jimmy, then tell me why. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heart.
What a slammer.
Tell me why.
Someone asked Jimmy, why are there illustrations in this prologue? I didn't write the book, guys. I didn't write.
Oh, There can't be. Tell me there's not pictures.
Oh, there are. Alan. Listen, James messaged earlier. Listen, James said those first pages of 1,000 Autumns were very different than Cloud Atlas. I'm not sure for better or for worse.
Jimmy, come on.
I told you not to read it.
All right, guys. Jimmy's about to get demonetized on camera.
Go for it. It don't matter.
No. Oh my gosh, Jimmy.
Show it.
I don't want to.
Come on, don't be a coward.
I don't want to look at it again.
Well, make everybody else look at it.
Okay. Oh, I have to go. Sorry, I have to go. I'm going to show this, and then y'all can talk about it while I go tuck my baby in.
All right. So you just showed the text. You just showed. Wait, keep going. Okay. So alt text here is it looks like a fetus stuck coming out. That's the most PG way I could say it. Alan, by the way, me and you talked about reading this while you were about to have your first child. And I was like, I cannot let him read this right now. You're welcome.
I appreciate it, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
Thanks for looking at it. I'll be right back. I'm going to talk about it.
And be clear, everyone, the reason why this book was something I recommended to Alan to try with me is because it's based in Japanese history, which Alan's very versed in and a big fan of. No surprise there. But he hadn't read any David Mitchell. I thought, okay, interesting time period. David Mitchell's a master of voice and interesting things, and he's funny. I think his humor would work with Alan. And of course, the prologue is miserable. Now, I do want to say this, by the way. Reader's Journey said, my brother got a tattoo of another illustration in that book. Very excited to see what that is. Well, I might be questioning your brother, depending on what it is. But I will say this. So the prologue is obviously disturbing, gross, whatever. But it's also really good. Like, it's very, very good. I was captivated. I had to force myself to not read it. Ryan, you should absolutely unhaul every David Mitchell book you own. But I've also told you multiple times you would not like David Mitchell. Maybe the Bone Clocks. I could see liking the Bone Clocks. But also, like, why would you unhaul just based on that? I've literally been spending an hour saying that it's nothing like his other books. So to unhaul the books that are not titled that would be a very irrational thing to do. Would you not agree? Oh, the tattoo is rad as hell. It is the 1,000 Autumns of Jacob Des. I don't know. I don't know how to say the name. I always end up messing it up. Neitha says disturbing for you means 10 times disturbing for me. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm also kidding, Ryan. We're all just joking around, having a couple jokes. Is this one of the ones in no way whatsoever escapism from our current times? Actually, I don't think so. I don't think that would be a problem. Jimmy, what's your favorite prologue of all time? My favorite prologue of all time is A Clash of Kings by George R. R. Martin. I would also say Memories of Ice, Midnight Tides. I mean, Erickson knows how to do a prologue, but every single A Song of Ice and Fire prologue is a short story, and George R. R. Martin has written so many short stories that I think that he obviously excels in them, right? Whenever he puts that into the Song of Ice and Fire universe, it's pretty amazing. I know we're not even going to talk about when's the winner. It's never coming out, whatever. I'm very excited if it ever does for the prologue, because there's going to be a character in that prologue that I think would be interesting to see where they're at. I guess that's what I can say, because I realize talking about it would probably be a spoiler. So Mitch said, I found a profoundly beautiful, important reminder that childbirth ain't no joke. I mean, I think you're being facetious, but it is kind of like people forget. Like we were talking about infant mortality earlier. You know, it was a pretty haphazard thing. Okay, I must have been thinking of a different one you recently reviewed that sounded like David Mitchell. Oh, you might be thinking of, oh my gosh, it's not Over the Hill. The Other Valley. The Other Valley by an author with 3 names that I can't remember. Did an interview with Talking Story The Mittens. Great interview. Very, very good. Definitely read the book before you do the interview. Alan, how's Atticus? Is he out cold? He is? Oh, he's crying. Okay. Are you not talking anymore? Is Oh, you're taking your temperature? Wait, are you that sick? I mean, I feel like you would know if you were that. I mean, you said you were sick, but I didn't realize you were like temperature sick. We could have we could have delayed this. Okay. Beltube says, I hope George R. Martin says Robert wakes up in the end. It was all a dream. Me too. That means because Bobby B would still be rolling the best king of all time.
Yeah, no temperature. Sorry, my when my breath feels kind of hot on my from my nose, I kind of feel like I have a temperature sometimes, and so I was just making sure I don't.
So what did it come out as? What's the result?
It's like 98.8, so I'm fine.
Oh, you're done.
Though I run low. It's tiny. It's slightly elevated. I usually run like 97.7 or something like that.
Brian says, Alan, I'm so sorry. I still have never read a KJ Parker. Join the millions of us. Again, after the knife book, I bought a few, though. But Brian, did you like the knife book? Which calling it the knife book would almost insinuate that the title is very complex, but it's just called Folding Knife. Like, it's actually almost more work to say the knife book than Folding Knife. I don't know why I find that so humorous.
And yes, it does, Rogue. When you have a cheap Publix thermometer, digital thermometer, it takes forever. Does it not, Christina? Yeah.
Alan's head is so big that it has to make its way all the way around the circumference. Me and Alan both have large noggins.
That's one of my favorite quotes from Parks and Rec, Samwise. I agree. All right, sorry, 1 second.
Hey, not a problem. This has been a one-man show before, and we can absolutely do it again. People, tell me what you're reading, because I got to be honest. This has not been a good reading month for me at all. Hi, Christina.
Alan asked me to sub in temporarily while he checks on the baby.
Oh, well take a seat. Take a seat. Pull up a chair.
I feel like I'm a poor substitute. I don't think I'm nearly as interesting.
I disagree. I disagree completely.
But he was going to go. Our son has had a rough day. And normally when we lay him down, he settles pretty quickly. But he's in there pretty upset. So Alan was going to go check on him.
He wants to know why Dad is not paying attention to him and talking to the guy with, a 5 head, large forehead.
He did not have a 5 head. But anyway, so we're hanging in there in the Walker household.
I say if baby Atticus had a bad day, that means that you probably also had a bad day.
It was a little rough.
What was the best part of your day?
Well, he and I, after one of his meltdowns, I took him out in the backyard and we set up a blanket under a tree and just kind of like played with sticks and leaves for a little bit. And it was cute though. I had to keep intervening and be like, don't eat the stick. But I was trying to show him like, it's a tool. Use it to like, I don't know, tap things and stab leaves.
Did you have him cast a spell or two? It's almost like
honestly, he looked a little bit. He ended up using it as like a pointer, and I got a couple pictures of him. It was pretty cute. He kind of looked like he was trying to be a wizard.
Do you feel like Atticus would make a good wizard?
As in, like, would he be good at it, or would he use it for good purposes?
Would he be good at it? We know he would do good.
Right now, he would not be good at it, but when he gets older, maybe. I don't know if this is going to show up, but look how cute. His little stick and his crazy hair.
Have you been reading anything lately? Can we expect another reading vlog anytime soon?
I have been. I'm probably not going to vlog about it, but I think I might make a video. Actually, y'all need to give Alan a hard time. I have made a review to put on his channel of The Vanished Birds, and he hasn't edited it yet to put up. But so I read The Vanished Birds. Right before that, I had read Letter to the Luminous Deep. And
who's that
Alan, good question. Sylvia Cantrell, maybe?
It's not important. What kind of book is it though? Like what genre is it? I haven't heard of this.
It is, I would, yeah, it's fantasy. But it's not like, I don't know how to describe it. It's really out there.
It's fantastical.
Yes. But I really like it. Hang on, I'm gonna look up the author real quick because I don't want to have said the wrong author name. But it's a duology, and the second one is not actually out yet. Yeah, Sylvie, not Sylvia. Sylvie Catherall. I was close.
Yeah, Ryan put it in chat coming through clutch.
Thank you. Yep, just swap the T and the H. Yep. So Alan got the arc for me of A Letter from the Lonesome Shore. So that's what I'm reading right now, is the arc, and I'm really enjoying it.
Wait, you're reading arcs?
I'm reading an arc.
You're a better book reviewer than I am. You know how many arcs I've read in the last year? None. Zero. Literally none.
Probably because you had so many books you were reading and there weren't arcs that you wanted to read, I would guess, right?
It's too much pressure.
Yeah, because you're on a timeline. So this he got because I really enjoyed the first book, and I was really bummed that the second one wasn't out yet. So he was like, surprise, I got you the arc.
So you're pregnant right now.
Yes.
And I'm curious.
Not that big normally.
Did you have a book that you liked the most that you read while you were pregnant last time?
I don't know that I read much while I was pregnant. I actually started reading more right after Atticus was born because I needed ways to stay awake when I was taking care of him in the middle of the night. And I discovered Libby and the fact that my iPad, I could set up the like voice command to tell it to turn the page for me. So I would be like holding Atticus and like telling it like swipe left, and it would go to the next page.
That's fascinating because I think a lot of people look at that feature and are like, that's ridiculous. Who could be so lazy? But then you think about it, and it's really a great accessibility feature. Like, obviously you found it useful.
Mm-hmm. And at the time I wasn't super into audiobooks. I have now started reading more audiobooks, and I have a hard time saying reading audiobooks. It
Christina,
just
no!
I know it's a book.
No, stop!
It just
take it back.
Would you say that audiobooks don't count as reading? Would you say?
I do. It just also feels so different. I'm engaging with it in such a different way. I'm engaging with the book in such a different way.
What's the biggest difference for you? I mean, obviously the format, but do you find yourself enjoying the book in a different way?
So I tend to multitask while I'm listening to an audiobook. So it is a different experience for me, like vastly different. Instead of being like completely zeroed in, I might be like driving or doing dishes or folding laundry. I don't do anything super complex because then I really will just miss it. And I lost my train of thought because I heard the baby. Sorry.
It's because you're a good mom.
And I'll have to like rewind and re-listen to stuff. But I don't have as much free time as I did before, and I still really love to read. So it's a good way for me to continue that to be able to keep reading. And I've really been enjoying it. So
are you
sorry,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm previewing. It's kind of like having another arc. I'm listening to The Prophet of Adan as he's recording it. I get to go listen chapter by chapter as it comes out fresh.
It's
unedited, but
like with bloopers?
No.
I mean, there's not really bloopers. No, he does such a good job.
No, I edit it before. It's just not. It just hasn't been edited. Like
okay, so it's like an almost final product.
Yeah, it's almost final.
Okay.
But it's what he will submit to the editor. But they will do final like technical stuff, and then listen for any like I don't know errors or anything like mispronunciations or something. But but it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. But that's one that like there's so many characters and place names and stuff. I do have to be really careful to like I'm constantly like, wait, go back like 2 minutes and re-listen to that because I definitely missed something and I don't want to miss anything. So anyway, and The Vanished Birds I actually read kind of hybrid. Like I had a physical copy of the book and then that Evie sent me. And then Evie was also so nice. She sent me the audiobook. I already told him, honey. So she sent me the audiobook as well. And so I would kind of flip flop back and forth between them depending on if I had time to sit down and read it versus if I was doing something a little bit multitasking that I could still listen to it and focus enough. But anyway, as soon as Alan gets back, I'm probably going to let him take back over and I may go check on the baby again because he's still in there.
That's completely acceptable. You can go now as well. You don't have to placeholder if you don't want to. You can go see your kid. Totally acceptable.
I was just telling him I might swap out again, honey, to go check on the baby.
He's asleep.
He's asleep?
Yeah. I got him asleep.
Okay.
How? It's a very important question. How did you?
I'm very soothing.
Alan like rubs his tummy.
No, I held him.
And
I held him and then I set him down. It was pitch dark. I set him down in the wrong place and almost walked off. I set him down in the chair. And I was like, why is it?
In the rocking chair?
I was like, why is this moving? The crib doesn't move, does it? And I'd already set him down. I'd let him go. Like I laid him down and I'd let him go. And I'm like, I think I put him in the wrong place. I didn't realize I'd moved that far from the crib. And then I, blind man felt. And I was like, oh my gosh, I set him on this chair. Whoops. I couldn't see. It's pitch dark. You have night vision goggles?
Evie said you read him some KJ Parker. Belltube says you talked to him about Rome.
What? What did I do?
People were saying how you could get Atticus to sleep is reading KJ Parker.
That's so rude. Look, I would love to talk history on my channel, but then, some people would have to, I'd at least have to have like some people watching.
Alan, I have a question about this audiobook nonsense.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue after you finish Philip's books? Like, are you going to look for more opportunities? Like, what's the future of that look like?
Go ahead, Christina. You want to fill in this one?
So I want Alan to consider going all in and having a full career change.
Christina is in love with the idea of financial instability.
So I'm and it gives, while there is there's risk to it and there are cons, but quality of life to me is a lot more important than income level.
Yeah, being homeless is a dream I've always had.
I'm willing to make sacrifices.
Okay.
Maybe not homelessness, but maybe downsizing. And just his job just gets harder every year, and it's so physically demanding and exhausting. And I just think it would be really cool.
There's a lot of flexibility too with that job.
Yeah. And he's really good at it. I mean, I'm biased, but also
the reception really for the first one has been good, which makes me happy. I work really hard on it. Like I there's a lot of stuff I don't work really hard on. Like, why don't I do super in depth? And people are like, I really like videos that go like super into depth on a specific topic about like the history of a genre. I'm like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not working that hard. I'm not working that hard for. No, you're getting TBR. You're going to get a review. You're going to get a book haul that's got me dressed as someone, and you're going to get some sprints. That's what you come to. The only thing I would work really hard on like a history one, but so yeah, I mean, I worked really hard on it, and I should be done with the Adan stuff. Like I said, I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish. I have a plan. Like, I know how many days in the summer I have.
And how many pages minimum he has to do.
So I will get that done, barring sickness. I should finish it before August, and then I will probably take off the first semester of doing anything. Like, I'm going to record Philip's new one, but I'm going to be like, you can give it to me and maybe I'll start it, but I probably won't start it till January just because dealing with a new baby. And I just don't see where I'd get the time. At least that first 4 months, sorry. But yeah, and then, then we'll see. Again, I am not a good self-marketer. I'm not.
You need Christina.
I'm not good at being like, hey, so I'd be like, you know what? I could probably do a good job on that, I guess. And then they'll be like, well, I'm not paying what you asked for. What if I gave you $100 and a gift certificate to Longhorn? I'd be like, yeah, that's probably okay.
No.
Yeah, see, I need Christina to say.
I need to be your manager or something.
You do.
Yeah, you're the agent. You're the agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just not a good self-promoter. But I do like it. I really enjoy I like doing Philip's books. I'm having a good time doing it. I like seeing what kind of voice I can do for this particular person. How do I,
bring it to life?
What?
Bring it to life, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fun because the thing is, I've also now experienced, and that's the other thing, is now I feel super bad. So Vanch, the only reason I do video game reviews is because I am not going to go through the effort of capturing what I play.
Same.
Too much work. So it would literally be me talking with maybe a screenshot it took when I got a trophy. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I feel bad talking about I'm like, I don't really like that narrator, as if now big shot audiobook narrator
I've done one book.
Judging other people's work here, and I hate doing that. I didn't care before I did them. Now I feel bad.
Well, you look at it differently. I mean, that's like doing booktube, right? Like you watch booktube, you enjoy it, then you start a channel, and then you see everything differently. Belltube says he has connections, and that when you're done with the Dan, he can hook you up. He also said you should maybe get a SAG-AFTRA membership.
I haven't done any. You have to do. I think don't you have to do SAG work to get that? I've never done SAG work. All I've done is.
I don't know what that is.
It's like union paid theater stuff or film stuff, and I've never done that. I don't think. Anyway, I appreciate that, Sam. But I mean, I also have appreciation for audiobooks more now because I save time. If I listen on my commute, that's an hour a day I can get. And on some of the days, when I know the only thing I'm going to be able to do is record a couple pages for Philip in the afternoon because I'm going to watch Atticus and then have dinner and then I don't know, visit with my wife for a second. I don't have any time to read. So sometimes the only time I get to read is my commute. So I have between 45 minutes to an hour to listen to. So, and when it's bad, the Dreams of Steel audiobook is not good.
Is it the same narrator as the originals? I listened to the White Rose.
It is not. And you know why. There is a different
analyst. But I thought it would just be the same audiobook narrator. I thought it
is not. And they are not good. And you know what? I do not dislike them, but I'm not the only one that feels this way. It's not great. I don't love the Bleak Seasons one. The Bleak Seasons narrator is the same as the one from Silver Spike. Not the same character, but it's the same one. And I don't love it either. I did like the first three. I like the narrator for the first three a lot.
I thought Silver Spike was the same guy, but maybe I had so much time between them.
1, 2, 3, and 5 are the same audiobook narrator. 4 and 7 have the same audiobook narrator, and 6 is a different one.
See, I believe I read books 1 and 2 physically purely, and then 3 I listened to, and then 5 I listened to. Shadow Games, because I was listening to the end of Shadow Games in the middle of my workout, and I literally had to stop working out because I was like, what? What? Great ending. Here's a question for you about being an audiobook listener. If you are reading a book physically and then you pick up the audiobook and you're listening to it on your commute, do you find it hard to go back to physically reading it?
No. In fact, what I don't like doing is starting on audio.
Well, I don't either.
Yeah. So because I read so much fantasy and historical fiction, I like to see what the names look like so that I know what they're saying in the book, in the audio. And no, I don't. I find it super easy to just go back and forth.
Interesting. I find it hard. I find it
Really?
really hard. Yeah. If I will start every single book I start 100% of the time is physical. And then I usually offload one. And I don't want to say offload because like I'm paying attention. I actually don't really multitask that much. I might stretch at the gym. I stretch for like 20 minutes every day. So during stretching, that's probably my biggest extent of multitasking. Sometimes I'll hit my practice putts, like on my little putting mat. That's about the extent of what I can do for audio. But I have found that whenever I switch to audio for one book or two books, it's really hard for me to go back to reading. I don't know why that is. It's
I don't
very
either.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I get it. It's just for me, it all just serves as like I just need this. I need to get this done quicker. So,
Yeah.
now sometimes I go back and I like skim over. Pompeii is not narrated by Stephen Pacey, for the record. It's narrated by John Lee.
I like John Lee.
It's entirely. I like John Lee also. He narrates a lot of Roman historical fiction.
He's had a lot of variants though, because I've known somebody who loves his narration, and then they had him in a different audiobook and hated it. So he's like, I think he changes his style depending on what the book is.
He's one of the two Count of Monte Cristo narrators, I think. But he does a lot of Roman historical fiction. I've had him in a lot of stuff. I like John Lee. I know exactly what I'm going to get out of John Lee. Oh, then the Canadian/UK one is Stephen Pacey.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do Devils on audio because this is my weird Abercrombie opinion. I like reading Abercrombie's writing, especially post trilogy. Like I think he gets a lot tighter. I just like the way he uses words. Very Glenn Cook-esque in some ways, actually, with the very terse sentences at times. But I know Pacey's amazing. I'm not debating that. But I genuinely really like reading his prose. So I don't know if I'm going to do the audiobook for The Devils. I might just read it with my eyeballs. And honestly, I don't know if I'm reading The Devils next month or not. I'm not going to say I'm not, but...
Is it coming out next month?
I think it's May, yeah. And the only other thing I think I have in May, I think I'm reading Will of the Many with Nerd Level Rising and a couple people. And I think me and Yolanda are reading Prophet's Song in June, which was a Booker winner from Ireland that I wanted to read. So I don't even know if I'll get to Abercrombie next month. We'll see.
Word. I thought you already read Will of the Many for some reason.
No, I read his other trilogy in DNF book 3 like 80% in. I was just tired of it. The only thing that was bothering me about Will of the Many is that I heard that it had an academy setting, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm okay with it now. I think I would be fine. I also didn't realize that the new GGK is next month. For some reason, I thought it was in the fall.
I have to this day have read one GGK, and it is Tagana.
And you did not love Tagana.
No, I did love Tagana. I did not love a corn sword chapter and the unnecessary sexy times.
Well, a bunch of people in the comments were saying this earlier, but GGK fits that bill of like historical influence on the writing, and there's world that existed prior and everything, and geopolitical regions.
Yeah,
100% agree with that. And honestly, Tagana is my least favorite Guy Gavrilke. I would love for you to read more. Oh man,
I need to read more so I can see where it stacks up. There's something
so good.
There is something mystical about, and just like it just has this really like otherworldly kind of like elevated quality to the story and the writing that I really like. But I need to see if that's endemic just to Tagana or if that's across the board.
I would love for you to read Song for Arbonne. Oh, it's so good, dude. It's so good.
Tell these fools tell these fools next month when they put stuff on the Patreon wheel, tell them to put Song of Arbonne on.
And it's perfect because it's just, his books aren't that long. Most of them are standalones or like loose tie-ins to other stuff, which is perfect. Belltube says, me and Jimmy are reading Earth of the New Sun when the sun starts burning out. Dude, me and Belltube have been talking about reading Earth of the New Sun for 2 years, I think. I think I was supposed to be a part of a Book of the New Sun reread this year with like Philip and Talking Story and some people, and I assume they just started without me, or they did, or it hasn't started yet, which is fine because honestly I don't have time. I would probably have to drop from it.
Word.
Anyways.
It's my life not having time. It's very. I don't know. I've heard. So here are the ones I've heard. I've heard that I will love Sailing to Sarantium because it's Byzantine.
I wonder, how do you feel about a mosaist as a main character?
Jimmy, you know I read KJ Parker, right? Like,
yeah, honestly, GGK is like if KJ Parker was talented. Like that would
that's unkind. That's unkind.
It's unkind.
But no, I mean, a mosaicist is exactly the kind of character KJ Parker would have as a main character. So that doesn't.
Then you're fine. You're gonna love it.
I've also heard that people love, Song of Arbonne, Lions of Al-Rasan, and Sailing to Sarantium are the three that people always recommend. One person has said, "I'll like Under Heaven," he's gonna die on the Under Heaven hill.
Banger. You want to talk about a good opening chapter?
Cool.
Oh,
I like GGK is one of those that I 100% want to read, but it's always just right out of reach of the things that I need to be reading. As I try to make through, I'm really trying to finish some series also. My priority whenever I have a space is to catch up on Black Company and then finish Shadows of the Apt, which I am so glad I started continuing, because I like Adrian Tchaikovsky's who's going to like this in a few years? Alan Walker. He's going to like it. And you know what? He's right. He's absolutely right. It's just right up my alley. So,
well, Bangus Khan, by the way, says Song for Arbonne is his favorite book of all time. Alan's got to read it. That's high praise. That's very high praise. And Paul is a super smart guy, and he says Lions of Al-Rasan is the top read of the year. So does Mendelin. I mean, come on, dude.
Look, Mike's the man. Mike's the man.
Mitch said if you didn't like Sarantine, he'd be shocked. He'd be disillusioned and ostracized. I don't know what I don't
love the Byzantines, but still, I think I will like, because I mean, again, the stupid sexy time stuff did not ruin it. Did not ruin Tagana for me. The Corn Sword chapter is very dumb, but I just listened to it on audio and was like, and then where's Jake Bishop to bust in and be like, that's an actual festival. Where
that was a good Jake. That was a good Jake.
Here's the thing, and I'm giving Jake a hard time because he's not actually this guy all the time. But the people, I got an argument with that same kid. The same kid I'm talking about who thinks this is one of these kids who just thinks he's smarter than everybody. It's just and I like this kid, but he's also super annoying. But guys, just because something is important, it doesn't mean it's interesting. That's seriously, I've gotten railed on Malazan. I've gotten railed on One Piece. I've gotten railed on so many things, being like, oh, well, you just don't understand. It's like Skype is just so important. I'm like, okay, it's still boring.
Dude, I know exactly those comments.
It's still boring. People think that the reason that you don't love it the way they do is because you don't understand how integral it is. Okay, I understand. Boring. You're boring. This kid is like, oh yeah, but this thing, it's so important to the region at the time. I'm like, it's boring, and no one in this class of 27 people will care about it other than you. I'm not gonna waste class time on that. Boring.
So, I think in class you're more than justified for this because it's your class and you get to call the shots. When it comes to books, the only thing I don't like is if someone, this book is boring. That pretty much is the end of the conversation. I'm not saying it's not valid. If you're bored, if you're bored, DNF the book. I don't, whatever. That's cool. Books bore me sometimes. The problem is, and I know this whenever I say it in like a wrap up, as soon as I say a book is boring, the conversation's pretty much over at that point, right? Because you're checked out. It's over. I'm checked out. It's boring. I'm done. So I think it can kind of feel abrasive sometimes if it's someone who's coming from the other side who doesn't find it as boring.
Sure, except that I'm willing to entertain. I don't shut the debate down there, but I would like to know why you think it's not boring, and then we will discuss it. I don't know how to talk otherwise. These are the words that I use because I speak in wild, sweeping generalizations and hyperbole because I have found it is the most. This is actually incorrect. I do it because my brain has, after being misunderstood my entire life, it is the most effective way to get to it's just the easiest way to say what I'm trying to say. But it doesn't work, and I end up having to defend it a bunch. And so it's actually not the best way it's not the easiest way to do it, because I end up being a whole thing. But I don't know how to fix it now, because I've done it for
a vicious cycle. It's who you are. Did you just scapegoat your autism?
I mean, okay, like autism does cause things. Like it does cause things, you know? Okay, well, let me break your leg and then prove that you can't walk. It's ridiculous. So I mean, yeah, I get it. And I do understand that. But the thing is most people, and this is why I get in trouble on other people's channel and not on mine. And I do have some sympathy. Like Philip is always defending me in his comments. And it's because if you don't watch me and I just show up, it seems that I'm super hostile to Philip and hate everybody's stuff. The problem, and this is my entire life, and this is what makes me depressed and want to, sit in a corner till I die. But like, I just forget that everyone's not in on the bit. Like everyone in the world isn't in on the bit, because when I'm hanging around my friends, I don't like to have to be on and watch what I'm, make sure I'm careful to do this. And that's exhausting. I have to do that every day of my life. When I'm hanging out with my friends, I just want to be able to just
be loose.
To just be who I am. And it's fine, because Philip is a great sport. Joanna's a great sport. Everyone who's in on the bit, all of the people who comment on my channel, all the people here, they're in on the bit. But I forget that everyone isn't. And I understand how it looks if you don't know. I mean, it would be nice if you gave a guy the benefit of the doubt. But then again, I'm hypocritical and don't give people benefit of the doubt all the time. I'm like, yeah, that guy sucks. Kill him. But, so I understand. I understand a little bit. What I don't understand is why people feel the need to be mean in the comments. Like Philip's not, I'm not picking on a 5-year-old child. Philip is a 98-year-old man. Like, he can take care of himself. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need people rushing to his defense. He's not a damsel in distress with his fainting couch being like, oh, Lordy, the mean autistic boy is yelling at me and causing me a case of the vapors. Like, you're not going to whisk him off his feet and now all of a sudden have a line of tweed-wearing children. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need the assist. You don't have to be mean. You can just not watch me, or you can just not watch that video of Philip's. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have, like, the world's not waiting for your opinion, Big Hoss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Anita says this Alan dude is so mean. Paul said, as a fellow autistic person, I see you, Alan. Philip doesn't look a day over 71.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. So Christina and I were talking, had the same thing last night where I was talking about, I'm like, the book is bad. I'm like, it's bad. Like the handling of this situation is bad. She's like, yeah, but it's only bad to you. Some people might like it. I'm like, Christina, are you? Of course. But if we're not judging it based on our own personal opinion, then what's the point? Then why say anything is bad? Because someone somewhere is going to like this. Then what's the point? Like, everything's good because someone somewhere likes it. Like, of course, I mean, from my perspective, of course, I just don't feel the need to say that. That's too many words. That's too many words.
Subjectivity should be implied.
Yeah, it should be implied, unless I'm saying this is objectively bad. If I haven't said objectively, I'm talking subjectively.
So here's the problem. I will first off, also, Andy, thank you so much for the 250 spots. Said much love to both of you. Awesome dudes. Love from Ireland. So thank you, Andy. Awesome. Love Ireland very, very much. But the one thing I will say is it depends. I don't know where the line is where that becomes a problem, though, because if someone with 500,000 subs comes on and says this movie is objectively terrible, or doesn't even say that, just says this movie is a bad movie, this show has bad writing, it's a little harder to imply the subjectivity because, as you mentioned with your student, it's not just your students, by the way. It's not just TikTok. It's Reddit. It's Twitter. It's whatever. BookTube, same thing, right? I see people repeat opinions of myself and use my exact words, and I'm like, that's weird. Like, I mean, somewhat cool, but also kind of like, I don't know if you really want to quote me. I'm a jackass. Like, you don't probably want to take my opinion for a bond.
Where I come from it is like, it's fine if you say that, as long as you then enumerate why. Like, saying this is bad. Okay, well, what are the reasons it's bad? All the reasons that I'm going to say that I don't like Boudica might be reasons that someone else is going to love it. Like, do you want to know how this one chicken acts in the village? Because she's got chicken behavior down to a science. Do you want to know exactly what Iron Age British jewelry was made out of? And do you want to know about it for pages upon pages? He said hypocritically loving KJ Parker. Then you're going to
I was literally going to just follow up with that.
I'm an old school rhetorician. I plan the counter argument already. Like, I know what someone's going to say, but the problem is she does it in a way that I don't like it as much as like when I go into Parker, like I know what I'm getting in for. Like, I'm not actually expecting there to be a huge plot. This is a book about a British queen who led a rebellion against Rome. So at some point, I'm expecting we're gonna get some of that, right? Like in KJ Parker, I'm like, oh, like the tinkering with the machinery is the point. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna watch this person tinker with this machinery forever.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. There's a premise that has been presented as what the book is about, but it's actually focusing on things that aren't so much tied into.
I think I am also overly harsh on historical fiction. I think that is a personal bias, just because I like the time periods. And so yeah. But I mean, again, I agree with you. I don't think, especially when you have pull, what made me the angriest was the people with clout coming out and trashing Fall of Babel, book 4 of the Books of Babel. And all of a sudden you read in their comments like, oh my gosh, thank you for telling me how bad it is. Now I don't have to start it. No explanation on why. Why did it not live up to your expectations? Why did the first 3 books go from 5 stars to this 1 star? That doesn't make any sense. You just didn't like what happened. Tell people that. I didn't like what happened. It's not. Anyway.
Well, it would suck to see people get diverted from an opinion that you think might not line up with everybody's reading
when
experience.
It's an author that, like, it's not Sanderson. You can bash Sanderson all you want. You will make no dent. He is unstoppable. He's a juggernaut. He is
rolling downhill.
What? Yes, exactly. You better run, Charles.
He's rolling down a massive Mormon hill.
Look, what? I just listened to his YouTube short about what his new... this is going to be my Secret Project 5 coming out, and I just wanted to explain a little bit about what it's about. So it's about, there is one technologically low point, as in they use still tools, and then exploration of an advanced society that is exploring and where those two cultures meet. And I think you're really gonna have fun with it, especially you can read it without having read any of the Cosmere. But I think for those of you who have read some of my books before, you're gonna love all the Cosmere connections.
Bro, you've been sitting on a Sanderson impersonation for years and didn't, bro. That was phenomenal. Exactly so that was phenomenal.
Thanks.
Why have you never done that before?
I mean, I've done off the cuff ones, but this is my first. Like, after I watched that video, I'm like, you know what? I bet I can do this. So I just piloted that here. It was so good. Thanks.
You need to make a video as Brandon Sanderson.
The problem is, many of my impressions are only good in the short term. The longer I go, the more chance I will fall out of them.
I'm the same way with my impersonations. Andy also given another super chat. Andy, that's very kind of you. You don't have to do that. Has Allen been released from jail for his Discord streaming crimes? This man has gone.
How many crimes do I have?
Gone too long unpunished. Could you both recommend a non-fantasy series? I'm gonna go ahead and recommend Tana French's series that starts with the Searcher and follows up with the Hunter, because I'm reading it right now and it's the first thing on the top of my head. So that's the series that I would recommend to you.
In the Woods is the first one.
No.
Is it?
No, the Searcher. In the Woods, I think it's the Dublin Murder Squad.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dublin Murder Squad.
Or maybe it's a different one. I don't know. She's written
No,
so
it's a
many
different
books.
series. Sorry. Yeah, the Cicero trilogy by Robert Harris. If like the best series about ancient Rome that there is, and it's really just a political thriller. Like it's just a political thriller set in ancient Rome, and it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Hobo Giant says, on the flip side, Jimmy does a great job describing his reading experience with books and who it might be for, except rather than saying so good or so bad. And this is what makes me better than Alan, I think.
No, that's not true. If you listen to any of my book reviews, I do not ever sweeping say this book is bad. I say, here's what I don't like about this book. This book did not work for me, and here is why. I just wanted this, and it delivered this. And I am also someone who says, you know what? You know who liked this? If you like this, you'll like this book. I did not enjoy this book. The only book I don't understand why anybody enjoys is Project Hail Boring. Because
by the way, that's an inflammatory take. Like, you know that book's popular. Like, you know what you're doing right now.
I do know it's popular. But the thing is, you know what else is popular? Many things that I'm not going to say on the internet because they're politically charged. But there are many things that are popular that are not objectively good. Project Hail Mary is boring. Full stop.
I thought The Martian was better. But I like Project Hail Mary.
Why aren't you rushing to its defense, Jimmy?
What, Project Hail Mary?
Yeah.
Because you're unreasonable.
I'm not unreasonable. No, it's boring. I DNF'd it at 80%. I've never done that.
It feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
It feels great.
I couldn't. And Jimmy, I read the summary of what happens, and I'm like, don't even care. Don't even feel like I missed anything. I'm like, you know what? I wish that this would have been the book. Reading the summary. That's how interested I was. I hated it.
Poetic Arson said, no, it's your relative moral compass that makes you better than Alan. How you describe your experience is what makes you cooler
Jimmy
than Alan.
is a way worse person than I am.
Oh, I disagree, sir.
Well, I mean, you can disagree all you want. Doesn't make it true.
I don't bully kids all day long.
Look, those kids need to be bullied because they're all soft.
What are you, David Goggins?
I don't know what to tell you. They are soft, and they have no emotional resilience. None.
Anita said, Alan is very reasonable. He didn't say a word for me not giving Sin Linison 5 stars. Look, to be fair, he probably doesn't value your opinion because, you know.
Look, I just called Anita Athena on accident. I've lost it.
Female readers don't stack up in Alan's mind. So.
Oh, no, Paul. I like Jane Austen.
Oh, Jane Austen. That's a spicy one. That
is a spicy take.
But by the way, Hobo, that was very kind of you. That's all I ever really want is to try to figure out who things are for. Because my personal taste is whatever. I'm a weirdo, so I don't expect people to always line up.
You do a good job of not completely like torching a book with no explanation. Like, I don't know who these people are. Are there people out there who just say this book is bad and move on?
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. There's people doing wrap-ups of 75 books. I mean, which by the way, I'm not a hater. Do what you want to do. Whatever there is no barometer or standard at all. And for some people, that's exactly what they're coming here for. I think for me, I am sometimes overly cautious with my excitement about some things because just so many times I have been so pumped up about something and genuinely thrilled. And then I post a video about it or whatever. And then I feel like everyone around me hates the thing I love. And then I just feel bad because then I'm like, well, they wasted their time and their money. And then also I'm just like, well, like maybe I am dumb for liking this thing. Ironically, you were talking about Dandelion Dynasty being very popular. Dandelion Dynasty is very not popular with my patrons.
Oh, okay.
Now, to be fair, some people do like it. But the people who dislike it, I mean, really dislike it. And I can think of I can count on two hands how many books made me feel as hyped up as Wolf Storms.
Mm-hmm.
Like the final act of that book is so good. So sometimes I actually get frustrated with myself from being a little bit too balanced, I guess.
Look, I love Long Price Quartet, and people bounce off the first book all the time. Some people have continued on to the second book and have bounced off it. And that makes me sad, but it is what it is. I love KJ Parker, and people frequently don't like KJ Parker. However, I do like when someone picks it up on my recommendation and really likes it. So like
folding knife is fabulous.
Yeah, I'd say like 1 out of 5, 20% of the people who pick it up, enjoy it. My patron Simon, did not
cool.
he did not particularly care for the company, which is fine. And then he read Folding Knife and was like, boom, absolutely.
That was my arc. Yeah, that was my arc. Like, now, I wouldn't say I disliked the company, by the way. I was whelmed by the company.
Whelmed indeed.
Oh,
but yeah, he loved Folding Knife. He loves Basso, and he liked it for all the reasons that I do. Like, Parker writes a genius character, and it's really hard to do.
DK said, I haven't hated anything Jimmy gets me to read, but sometimes I like it less than Jimmy's hype. That's fair. That's fair. And by the way, people are free to hate the things I love. You kind of just get used to it after a certain point. Yeah. I saw somebody one time say that they wish they could be as chill as me when people hate their things that they love. And I didn't realize that I was chill about those things. Like, it was just like one of those times I'm like, oh, people think I'm chill. Interesting.
I don't really understand going after people for not liking something. And I know people accuse me of this, but I don't actually ever do it like seriously. And I don't do it to people who aren't my friends. Like, I don't go after randos. Like, I have never, ever posted a mean comment on someone's video telling them that they read it wrong or they're idiots or whatever. I will tell you that you read boring crap. Like, I have no problem
and weird stuff. I mean, I didn't do myself any favors tonight.
Like, I just don't know. Like, someone suggests some random book that is a gobbledygook title, and you're like, you know what? I'd love to read that. Someone suggests something and says, oh man, and then this person has an existential crisis and writes a paragraph about it in Discord, and Joanna's like, I must read that. Philip, you guys read terrible things all the time. But I don't go after random people for what they read, because, and people who think that about me are not correct, because again, like Anitha said, she gave Senlin like 3 stars. Okay. People have DNF'd Long Price Quartet. Okay. People don't like KJ Parker. Still okay. Evie hates book 1 of the Greatcoats. Gave it 1 star. That's wrong. That's ridiculous. But like, Evie is one of my closest friends. So, like, it is what it is. And, we're doing a Greatcoat read along here in a couple months or whatever. And some of the people joining aren't going to love it. I love it because it is exactly what I am looking for. Traveling magistrates, bringing justice to an unjust world. So
I
gotta get something to drink. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. I had something in my head and then I forgot what it was. We do have a question here that we will answer. Andy, we'll answer your question when Alan gets back here. Someone said my Little Life points were super nuanced. That was probably one of the toughest books for me to talk about. I don't know if I regret talking about it or not. The thing is like a lot of people I know, A Little Life is one of those books that I have a ton of issues with, but I also can see how good the writing is. But I can also tell you for sure, that A Little Life has got people back into reading, which I think is pretty amazing. Reader's Journey said, Jimmy, have you done any more writing? I think you said you took a creative writing class earlier this year. Since I finished my short story, I've only written a little bit. I'll probably be doing writing sprints with Shelf Unstable next week. But I'm one of these people like for instance, Amanda is super talented. She's one of the most creative people I know. She's unreasonably talented. And she can take a writing prompt, and turn it into something amazing. Like, she has that talent. I do not have that talent. For me, I have to have a story like in the chest that I want to tell. And I told that with my short story. I was really happy with it. And I just don't have anything that's like weighing on me to write right now. And I find it really difficult to write for writing's sake, if that makes sense, which is not a good way of getting good at writing, by the way. It's very bad.
I'm the same way, Jimmy. Yeah. I'm not just going to, back when I wrote, I'm not going to write just because to write. Just like, I don't read stuff that I don't think I'm going to like. Like, I don't pick up books that I don't think I'm going to enjoy just because I should. Like, I don't have time. So,
yeah, and I never want to. I don't want to mail it in. When I'm working on something like that, I want to be full in. I get very obsessive about things. As everyone knows that at this point in the channel. So if I'm not obsessed with something, it's really hard for me to force myself to do it. Anitha said, Jimmy, you're joining us for Grey Coats or not? Probably not. When does it start?
Oh, I've forgotten.
And also, Anitha asked if I've ever liked any of your recommendations. Yeah, The Folding Knife. Amazing. It's an amazing book.
He also liked Long Press Quartet.
I did like Long Price Quartet. And you liked The Dagger and the Coin, just not as much, which is unfortunate.
Books 1, 2, and 3 like a lot. I like books 4 and 5 less, and I am always upfront in that I do not like where the plot went. They are not inferior books. I don't enjoy like that story.
He subverted a lot of stuff.
Yeah. The story could have gone several ways. I was not a huge fan of the way it went. That doesn't mean it was worse. It's just, to me, the experience was not as good. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I love Daniel Abraham. Like I'm
actually thinking about reading. If I didn't have commitments, like I got to finish Patreon book and I got some other stuff. If I did not have any commitments right now for reading, and I wasn't having such a tough time getting reading done this month, I would probably be picking up Age of Ash. Like I was thinking about it, and so many people keep telling me it's terrible. But I just know that I'm gonna like it, and it's just gonna be another one of those books that is boring that I love. Like it is what it is. Oh, I remember
the combination of Age of Ash and the second one are really good.
Blade of Dreams, right?
Yeah, Blade of Dreams.
Back to recommending books or whatever. The best feeling for me about being a reader, other than reading, is when I recommend somebody a book out of their wheelhouse and it lands. And my perfect suggestion would be Stoner, right? Like when I got you to read Stoner, that's such a hard pitch. Like that's not an easy pitch to do. Remains of the Day, same thing, right? Like those are two books that I would say that you wouldn't generally consider in your wheelhouse.
Like the pitch that got you, what put you over the line was free on Audible.
Dude, that is a big one, isn't it? I mean, I might read Divine Cities. Divine Cities next.
Look, Stoner was free on Audible, which what got me. I think I would have struggled if I had only read it physically, but it was something that I could definitely listen to, and I loved it. And that transitioned into. I promise you, when I do my top 100, Augustus will be way high up on that list because Augustus is his perfect book for me, and I've read it 3 times now since.
You read it 3 times? Dang.
Yeah, I've read it 3 times now. So it's that I would never have picked up John Williams if not for Stoner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I love it.
That's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Andy had a question. I wanted to get to it here because I think this is a cool one. It said, Alan, oh, I lost it. Sorry. Alan, just finished all your read-along videos of Faithful and the Fallen. As I read the series, where would you rank it 3 years later?
Oh, wow. I think John Gwynne, I'm going to compare John Gwynne to Sebastian de Castell in that you need to know exactly what you're getting. You're going to get some epic battles that are larger than life. You're killing me, Jimmy. And like a lot of stuff is going to happen that some of it you're going to be able to predict because it follows that pattern of narrative. But there's also going to be betrayals and there's going to be hated bad guys, but truth and courage. Like I get behind that kind of stuff. There's a lot of fighting. And Gwyn really enjoys doing the hand-to-hand fighting. Like he describes all of it. Like there are no battles that are summarized unless they happened off screen. Most of them, if they involve the main characters, then they're happening on page. And that is not everybody's cup of tea. In Ruin and Wrath particularly, there is a lot of fighting. And I think I read the Blood and Bone trilogy too close to Faithful and the Fallen because there's some retread there. There's a lot of, it's a sequel series, but I couldn't handle, when I got to book 3, I'm like, there's too much fighting. Like there's just too much fighting. And I had been, I did not give it enough time. That's a series I'd like to go back and reread because he does some interesting things with the characters. But I like Faithful and the Fallen. I think it's a more interesting historical fiction, even though it's not. I think it's a better You know, I don't think it's quite the same time period. In fact, it's not. It's not. It's I don't think it's set of circa 40 AD.
Very
But
Celtic inspired, right?
yeah. But it's the same region. I like it. I would read it before I'd read the first book of Boudica again. So I like it. Like it is. But I mean, you know, I see some people trash it, and it's like, okay. I mean, I get it, but I mean, you
Yeah.
know, if you don't like what it's serving up, that's like if you serve me Brussels sprouts, I don't want them. Like they're disgusting, you know. So if that's not what you want, um, you know, I don't know. I kind of draw the line. I don't think I ever say anybody is like a bad writer. I think I say that they don't handle things um, well or certain things or whatever. But like I think I stop short of like a bad writer unless I'm talking about Andy Weir.
Poor Andy
Uh,
Weir.
just shots across the bow. He's my
Small
chosen.
self-pub author Andy Weir. Tough.
Oh yeah, struggling artist Andy Weir
Trying to pay the bills.
Like, so for example, I'm just getting sicker by the day, by the minute. For example, I do not enjoy much of the way that Brandon Sanderson writes, but I do not think I think he writes certain things really well. Like I think he does really well at building to a crazy climax. At least in the Mistborn books, which is what I've read. I do not think he does as good of a job in Alloy of Law. I think that is not. I think it's one of the most aggressively lower mid books I've ever read. And again, when people say, "Oh," they defend it by saying, "Hey, yeah, it's bad. Oh, it's supposed to be like a short thing that he just ended up publishing. He made it longer." I'm like, okay, well, those are terrible. People should stop doing that. Those books aren't good. Like, if you meant it to be short, like, and you padded it, stop. Like, they're not good. But there are things that I don't like that Sanderson does. I don't think Sanderson's funny. That's what the discussion with me and Christina was. I was saying that someone wasn't funny. And she's like, well, not funny to you. Someone might find them funny. I'm like, well, Christina, what's the point of watching a comedian if I don't think they're funny? I should just acknowledge that someone thinks they're funny and I should just watch them and just deal with it? No, Christina, I don't think they're funny. Like, what other criteria am I going to use? Like, what criteria should I use when I'm watching a comedian?
It's a good question.
Like, I don't think Brandon Sanderson's funny at all. Like, at all. Like, I've had to list the order of authors I thought were funny. Brandon Sanderson would be at the bottom. And the problem is that Brandon Sanderson, to me, this is my picture of Brandon Sanderson, and it's probably wrong. Brandon Sanderson is Marcus Licinius Crassus from the First Triumvirate. He has all the money and power he could ever want. But the one thing he can't buy is a military triumph. He has to actually has to get a military commission and lead an army and defeat at least 5,000 enemies. You have to kill at least 5,000 people. So if there's 4,998, you better kill someone else. 2 more people. Find 2 more people just randomly on the way home. Kill them so you can get a triumph. And all he wanted, he's like, I need y'all to get me a freaking military commission so that I can win this triumph. So that's Brandon Sanderson. He has all this money and power, but wants to be the funny guy. Like he loves what the funny guy brings to the table, what the funny guy brings to the party. Like he wants to be the one that are like, oh my gosh, Brando, yeah, freaking, I love Brando. Brando's hilarious. Like that's what he wants.
But those people do exist.
Yeah, they're called sycophants. But like when you have money and power, you can surround people who laugh at your stuff, which is why that stuff makes it into the books. But he knows, like deep down, like he knows. And so he wants the recognition. He wants the recognition of the avant-garde, of the elites who trash his pop fantasy. Like he wants Philip to say, you know what, Brando? You're the funniest man I've ever heard. That's what he wants. Or he wants me. He wants me. He wants my approval. He says, you know what? I don't think I'm very funny. So
after the impersonation, you might get on the radar.
Please don't. I would no. no, I don't. I'm not a mean guy. I would hate for him to hear the things that I'm saying about him, because I'm just. It's a bit. I'm doing a bit. Like, I don't know him. He's probably nice. But I think I can safely say, to me, I don't think he's very funny. But I think he wants to be funny, because there's no other reason on why you keep including that, unless you desperately, because I think, Matt, it's because he is like hyper controlling about his properties, which, I mean, I do get.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna sign a giveaway contract like George did, or the Wheel of Time. I'm pretty sure.
But anyway, so I don't find Sanderson funny, but some people do. Some people think he's hilarious. But like, when I read it, I'm just like, please, like, do what you're good at.
Well, it's also a lot of the book. I mean, someone's gonna argue with me and tell me that it's only like 6 lines or something, but it felt like a lot when I was reading through them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think humor is one of the more subjective things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some people bounce off of Pratchett. They don't think Pratchett's funny at all. And I'm like, first of all, did you go in thinking that this was a funny book? Because if you did, someone misrepresented what Discworld's supposed to be. Like, they're not all funny. Some of them are very funny. But I think it's hard to sell a Discworld book. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying? I apologize.
No, I was just saying humor is very subjective. And Terry Pratchett's one that comes up a lot of the times. And the books I've read from Terry Pratchett, there is a lot of humor in them. I find some of it funny, some of it I don't.
Same.
I think so. If you could say, if I could pick like one author, and I'll bounce this question to you too. If there's an author that you don't care for, you don't have to hate him, but like you just don't meh. If there was one that you could love, like unconditionally, who would it be? For me, it'd probably be Pratchett or Sanderson. Like, I would love to just be like all in.
Oh, that I don't like, that I wish I liked?
Yeah, like, because I don't know about you, but like, I like it liking things. Like,
me too.
It's so fun.
Jimmy, I wish I loved Brandon Sanderson. People think that I like being the loner that hates everything. For one, I don't hate everything. You're embellishing it. But two, like, I want to be part of the popular crowd too. Like, I want to do fun things with fun people.
Well, he just writes a lot of books. He just writes a lot of books. That'd be sick.
I know.
Like, I wish I liked James Patterson.
It's at a picnic table in freaking Colchester, and it's him. His wife doesn't even show up. It's him, a pigeon, and me.
And he's wearing tinfoil for some reason.
No, he's wondering how he got outside of his house. How did I get here?
There's no Wi-Fi here, is there?
I wish I could. I really wish that I liked Sanderson, like the like, I would love to go to a big old convention. The problem is I don't like fandoms of any kind, even of stuff I like. So I don't really like conventions. It's the same reason that I don't listen to a bunch of history podcasts and stuff. It's like, I don't know. I don't really like, and hanging out with history people who like history, they're a drag. Like, a lot of them are just people who are like, oh, well, you're pronouncing that. It's actually the Koinos Greek, the Koine Greek. And I'm like, man, like this, like, is this how you make friends? Like, is your autism that bad? Like, it's just terrible. Like, let me say antipater. I know it's antipater. Antipater is stupid. It's anti and pater. Just let me say antipater. I know it's antipater. I don't care. And you know what? Nobody cares. Like, it doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you, my guy. Just like if I say Jasna, who cares? There's no pronunciation guide at the front of that book. It's Jasna. Because you want to know why? Well, you want to know why it's Jasna? Because that's the sound that Jay makes. That's the sound Jay makes. My name is not James. My name's
where you're from.
Yimmy. How you doing, Yimmy? My dad's name is Yef. Yef Walker. Yimmy Nuts. James Allen Walker.
I always call Joanna.
I mean, that's what it is.
When it's a personal conversation, because she actually doesn't like when you call her Joanna. I call her that for a very specific reason. But Matt said, if Sanderson were a baseball player, he'd be the guy who swings at everything, so he has a lot of home runs, but also has a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, I agree.
Fabled Reader said there will be at least 2 pigeons, by the way.
You're right.
And Ben
You're
loved
right.
your joke. Shout out to the One Piece fandom. Andre says he cares.
Oh, well. Sorry. I'm sorry that Jasna bothers you.
Oh, look at that. Wait, hold on. This is great. Kayla, thank you so much. Said, just stopping to say you guys are my favorite booktubers and make the hard days easier. Also, it's my pick for book club tomorrow. Should we read Guns of the Dawn, Malice, or The Road?
Guns of the Dawn.
You know what? I'll vote Guns of the Dawn. I've never even read it, but Malice is... I've seen not great success in book clubs with it, and also The Road is hit or miss, but also just really depressing, and I don't know.
And Guns of the Dawn is a standalone.
Yeah, Guns of the Dawn would probably be the one, I would say. Bookborn is here. It says, what are we complaining about, folks? He was complaining about you earlier.
Do you see how mean this is? Like, people wonder, like, this is mean. She showed up and she assumed that I was complaining, and I was not. I was literally saying something nice moments ago.
Hobo said, I wish I cared about anything Roman history, Alan. What would be one book that might change my mind?
Imperium by Robert Harris. It is book 1 of the Cicero trilogy, and you do not have to continue. In fact, if I ever reread it, I will probably just read that book. It was my book of the year 2 years ago. I loved it. It is, you can lose. It's Roman setting, and it is historically based, but it is a political thriller, and it is really good. Like, Imperium is what I would go with if someone didn't like Roman history, because a lot of what happens in there is absolutely historically accurate. So you can get your history quotient and your good book quotient. So that is what I would suggest.
Carlos from StoryTube, I believe, also is a big fan of that series. Another thing that Carlos is a huge fan of is Reacher by Lee Child. Have you ever read those?
Isn't that the Amazon show with the huge dude?
Dude, I actually watched the first 2 episodes of the show and really liked it. Like, you're getting what you're expecting, but the main character is autistic.
Is he? Reacher is autistic?
Yes, and it's awesome.
I have never in my life seen an autistic guy that big, ever. Like, I've never seen his His special interest is going to Gainesville. Like,
it's going to Gainesville and not saying anything to people. They're like talking to him, he just doesn't speak back. It's so good.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Based on the show and based on the way Carlos talks, I would honestly love to see you pick up a Reacher novel. You would need to ask Carlos which one to start with because he's the guy. But I think that you could possibly like it, and I hear that they're really easy to read. Like, they're fun.
I think my mom reads Reacher. My mom she reads stupid fast. She's a fan of the Reacher stuff, the Tom Clancy books, Clive Cussler, the Bosch series that was also an Amazon show. My mom reads a lot of that stuff.
Poetic Arson said he's jockistic.
Nice.
Jinglebell says, got into Baker last year and finished it this year. Much thanks to you and the Assorted Nuts for being the first and best place I could find like-minded people loving it.
Everyone thinks I'm going to hate Prince of Nothing.
Oh, you will. You should not. Who told you to read that?
I own it. I a lot of times don't hate everything that people think.
Well, I will say this. You could give it a shot. I don't think it's going to be for you.
And again, there's a lot of objectionable material that I can deal with before it becomes too much. It's just a matter of, like, will it be too much? Will it overpower the rest of the stuff? Because I read stuff that has stuff that I don't like in it all the time, and the story itself overpowered it. So it really just depends. Am I going to get too bogged down in the writing? Is there too much objectionable material? But is the larger thrust of the narrative going to overpower it? Because really, reading Malazan, people should say, Alan, you're not going to like Malazan, just because of the way.
That's what gave me some pause, because I'm like, you know what? You actually,
I like Malazan.
It is epic. I mean, it is very epic. I could see you giving it one of your classic. Who cares? I could see that, but
only for sections. There are big sections like
I just don't care, Jimmy.
Who cares about the K? Like, oh my gosh, shut up. Who cares?
I would. Oh, this is Jingle Bell says Second Apocalypse is like reading Malazan if Chain of Dogs didn't end for the next 7 books.
Cool. The thing is, the Chain of Dogs is my favorite part of that.
The sequels, very much so. Oh, that's another one that Philip didn't like. He didn't like book 4. He hated it.
Isn't there a holy war in Prince of Nothing?
He didn't actually hate it. Oh, no, it's legitimately a holy war.
I love Holy Wars.
That's why maybe you would actually.
Okay, that's one of those ones that people just don't know.
Will you
Same
do
thing
me a
with
favor? Will you do me
What?
a solid as
Yeah.
as a friend?
Yeah.
If you read that book, will you tell no one but me? Because someone that people are just gonna like. It's like when you read Abercrombie.
Oh my gosh, never again.
Read it in silence and just talk to me about it.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best policy. Personally.
Dang, Malazan is the little Sebastian of BookTube. I like it, Mike. But yeah, so I still have it, and I still plan on reading it. Now, if I don't like the first one, I won't continue. It'll be just like Boudica. But I mean, I am, I'm like cautiously optimistic about the first book at least. The second series maybe not. I'm not. I mean, only when I declare it.
Ironically, I actually think the sequels are much better in many ways, and I don't know. I would be curious to see how you would react to it. I do think you would love Book 2's battles because it's very bird's eye view, Homerific, which is honestly my favorite type of battle. I do know some people kind of bounce off of them, but I'm a big fan.
So I really just need to get through. Like I'm behind. I need to catch up on Black Company, and I need to finish Shadow of the App. Those are the two things that are really kind of clogging. So I can't really pick anything up because I'm also having read-alongs, which are working well. And yeah, Bookborn. My mom reads all that stuff. Like she's always read them my whole life. That's though I did discover some mystery like thriller books from my mom, like Jeffrey Deaver and Jonathan Kellerman and Jeffrey Balducci. I guess these are legal thrillers.
Balducci sounds familiar. The first Reacher book you should read is Gone Tomorrow. I feel like you should throw that bad boy on audio.
You know what I'm not going to read? James. Oh, sorry. James by Percival Everett.
Oh, that's a shame.
I don't like Huckleberry Finn.
Neither did Carlos. Neither did Carlos, and you almost talked him out of it because he said something about reading. You're like, "Oh, stupid Huckleberry Finn," and then Carlos was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to read it." And I messaged him. I said, "Just read the effing book." Is what I said. I just read the book, and guess what? He read it, loved it, and then he read like 6 Percival Everett books after that.
I don't like Huckleberry Finn. I don't know how I'm going to like a book that's based on Huckleberry Finn.
Carlos doesn't like Huckleberry Finn.
What the?
Uh-oh.
What the frick?
What?
Hold on. My battery died. Un momento, por favor.
I'll tell you what. There's always something.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a bad guest.
Jason Brogan said, are you guys ready for Erickson's new book coming out this year? It's Witness 2, right?
It is Witness 2.
I will read that as soon as it drops.
Same. I have to read I got to read a summary of God Is Not Willing because I'm not going to reread God Is Not Willing.
I might actually.
I don't have time. Malazan books just take me a really long time. I have autism. There you go. And I don't like Mark Twain.
I have no problem with someone not liking Huckleberry Finn. I don't know if I like Huckleberry Finn. I've never read it. I just read James without it, and it was awesome. The
problem is, like, other than like Stoner, and Stoner passed because it was about an educator.
Okay.
There's nothing about the premise of James. And yes, it could be good, but nothing about the premise says that I want to read it. Like, it is from the perspective of Jim.
I mean, Remains of the Day would fall into that category too.
No, because I like Downton Abbey.
Bro, no, the premise of the book is a butler takes a vacation.
Yes, I know, but it's a Downton Abbey butler, which is like, I'm sold. And that is posh Britain, not going down the river, down the Mississippi on the raft. Like, here's the problem. I'm from the South and I hate it. Like I'm just so
I can understand that.
I don't like the South.
I can understand that.
Anything that takes place in the American South, I don't like. Like, I can't think of anything. Nope, that's not true. To Kill a Mockingbird. I love To Kill a Mockingbird.
You know, I've never read that.
It is probably the only book I like that takes place in the American South. I don't like the American South. Like, I don't like. And Mark Twain also writes in dialect, which it's not Mark Twain. Sorry, it's Percival Everett. Oops, it's not actually Mark Twain. I'm sitting here talking
Percival
about
Everett does it in it for a reason.
All right, well, find Anitha and Sal and Evie and force them to put it on my Evie.
But actually, you know what? I think that there's probably other Percival Everett books you could read instead.
Evie loves Percival Everett. Tell her to put it on my patron wheel.
He is fantastic. And he also writes very short books.
No, if it's super short, I mean that's fine,
All of his
unless
books are
like.
short.
But the problem is if it's a drag, it'll take forever. Like, look, I appreciate people appreciating Mark Twain, but I do not, and I think his witticisms are funny. I just do not like his. I do not like his books. I do not enjoy them.
I did pick up the Adventures of Tom Sawyer because it's narrated by Nick Offerman, and I love
Oh,
Nick
that's cool.
Offerman.
That's
Yeah, I was
cool.
like, I'm totally gonna throw these on at one point. I do have some travel time at the end of this month, so that's when I'm gonna get a good amount of my reading done. I was gonna do Bluest Eyes by Toni Morrison, but I got to find something else to fill it up. Maybe I'll read another Percival Everett book. That'd be fun. That'd be great.
How many of those have you read?
Uh, two.
Oh,
Or
I thought you read. I thought you read
three.
all of them.
No, I read two, and I wanted to read The Trees immediately, but then I was like, okay, I'm reading a lot of Percival Everett and David Mitchell. Like maybe I should, maybe I should read more stuff than just this because I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel bad necessarily for like binging an author, but every now and then I'm like, am I missing out on variety? Because I don't think you can get tired of Percival Everett's books because they're all so different. Like they're very, very different. Though he touches on same themes in almost all of them, and he's all about irony. Like he really goes into angry irony. Uh,
I thought you had read more, Evie. I think you just bought more. I think you posted a screenshot or a picture of several books.
Anethus
That's true. How
as
many have you? Are you still at like two
oh
fantasy for every one non-fantasy?
oh easily, easily.
Yeah,
Now the question is whether or not you also count sci-fi in that or not.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I count sci-fi.
I've been
I
in
count.
I've been in a huge sci-fi mood lately.
Nice.
But it also depends. Like then some of this is magical realism, right?
Mhm.
But just looking last month, I read what 3, and then a month before that I read 3. So yeah, I've read a lot, quite a lot. Though I will say, it is a lot easier to pick up something else because every single fantasy thing that I want to read, I feel like is a freaking series, and I'm just like, I don't want to,
Mhm. Mhm.
I just don't want to do this again, And then this, general fiction book is sitting there, Percival Everett sitting there with a 250 page count. That's going to be an absolute slammer. Probably going to make me laugh. Probably also going to give me some things to think about. Like, it's tough. Bookborn says sometimes binging a single author, if they are good and varied enough, can be super interesting to see their themes crop up and again and again. Yeah, this is what I've seen with Ishiguro and David Mitchell, though David Mitchell has a really big range. And I think it's really rewarding whenever you read an author's work close together. I think it also could be a detriment at times. Sometimes you're like, all right, I've seen this before. Yeah, and every fantasy book is like 900 pages.
Yeah, I agree. There was I sometimes miss. I mean, I do, and we've talked about this before. I sometimes miss the times prior to BookTube where I just like back when I was reading Black Company in high school. I read book 1, and then I picked up book 2, and then I picked up book 3, and then I picked up book 4. And I did the same thing with Malazan. Like that's just what I read. Now I just don't do that. I did that with the Monarchies of God quintet, and that's some of the most fun I had.
Yeah,
during
you were
Christmas
fired
break.
up about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
good. And
but no one's telling
yeah.
you can't do that.
No,
That's the
no,
thing.
no. It is not. This is like people saying like, "Well, I have to because the algorithm." No one's making you do that. No one's forcing me to do that. I'm saying I make the choice to do that, just because. And I don't really know why. It's mostly because now, as opposed to back then, I had fewer things I wanted to read. Like first of all, back in the late '90s, early 2000s, at B. Dalton Bookstore, there was not a wide range of stuff to read. I read every Forgotten Realms book that is possible to read. So there wasn't. I didn't have like a library full of stuff that I want to get to. So I just read widely stuff. And I also try to do read-alongs because I do try to do community building too, and then patron reads and stuff. And so really, it's not even by design anymore. It's not that I'm reading one a month. It's that I have these other things I have to do, and the second I can, I get back to it.
Yeah.
Because it's part of its community building. But I do. I did love being laid up. I mean, I didn't love having been hit by a car, but I'd been hit by a car, so I didn't have anything to do. I was just sitting there. And so I just read those 5 books, and I sure wish I'd have stopped at 4. I would have been happier. And man, I could have gotten people to read it. The problem is that 5th book, despite me trying to avoid the Fall of Babel thing, being like, guys, 5th book is bad. Doesn't matter. Takes place 18 years later. Ignore it. Don't read it. Books 1 through 4. Pretend there's not a 5th book. 5th book sucks.
It's a tough sell.
It's bad.
It's a tough sell.
I mean, except that there's a complete arc, and the only plot thread that is not wrapped up in the first 4 is the worst plot thread. It's the worst of them. So who cares? Nobody.
But when you're spoiled for choice and there's so much out there, and Bookborn's mentioning FOMO, that is something that contributes to people hearing one bad thing and saying, "Oh, thanks for letting me know I can take it on my TBR." And I've said it before. I love finding reasons to take things off my TBR. You're like, "Oh, this author always eats salads on Tuesdays," and I'm like, "That's weird."
But I
out.
love the Monarchies of God. They're so good. They're so good. The book 5 is just a miss. It is a complete miss. And it should have been the first book of a second series. There's too much that he's trying to do, and in the same amount of pages, it's not enough. And it's 18 years later. The other books are absolutely continuous, and then all of a sudden, an 18-year jump.
I have a copy of the first book, and I do plan on reading the first 4, and I will skip the 5th. Bookborn says, "Jimmy, that's bold to say when we are promoters of an unfinished series." Yeah, I mean, but everyone knows I don't care about endings. So, like, if you're someone who cares a lot about endings, I'm probably not the dude for you, I would imagine, at least. Salads are a Wednesday meal. You're 100% correct. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, though. And I fall victim to it, too, where someone says something about a series, it kind of starts painting this image in your head. You should definitely go ahead and get your own thoughts, and experience it for yourself. But there are certain books, I don't really care what anyone says about them. Like, I know I'm going to try them type deal. I would say...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I would say there's a good plenty amount of books that no matter what I've heard, I'm like, well, I'm going to read it anyways, just to see what I think.
There are certain people that, like there are people who know whether I'm going to like a book or not, or a large percentage chance if I'm going to like it. Like, I like when people are like, "Yeah, Alan, don't read that. Like, you're not going to like that." The one people are torn on is Robin Hobb. No one knows if I'm going to like Robin Hobb or not. No one can decide.
I think you'll like some of the characters, the antagonist specifically. I think you'll really like hating them. So you'll be like, it'll sound like you hate it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Which is honestly my favorite reaction from you. Like, if I could have you react to a book in one way, it's that. But I think you'll care. That's
Mitch. Thank you. Mitch. That is the best review of Fall of Babel there is. No matter where you fall on it, and I understand why people don't. It decides it's going to like curve off the road and kill everybody in the van. That's fine. But that one scene, absolutely, Mitch. Absolutely. Mitch and I are just like, I'm with you, Mitch. I'm with you.
A rare time Mitch isn't trolling. You loved it.
No, he's not because he posted like in the Discord as he was reading it. He's usually pretty forthright about how he feels about.
Oh yeah, he's great. Mitch is the GOAT. He's the funniest person I've ever met online. Mitch
is in fact the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. Well, bud, we've been going about 3 hours, and I'm getting very hungry.
And look, I have a fever now. I'm at 99.7 now.
Are you really?
So,
you've progressively getting more unhealthy as the stream has went on.
That's why. I mean, I told you that I felt like I had a fever. It just hadn't. It was on its way.
You had premonitions that a fever was occurring.
I just know how I feel when a fever's coming. Like my breath just gets hot. So
I've never heard anyone describe it like that in my life.
Seriously, the air that comes out of my nose. I'm hypersensitive to alterations in my normal baseline because I'm autistic, and so when I'm like, "Why is my upper lip warm?" It's just nose. It's
hot. That has to be unbearable.
It is. Jimmy. That's why I knew. That's why I knew to go grab my thermometer.
Jeez.
But thank you for having me on, Jimmy. How about we don't do 7 months in between?
7 months is crazy. Yeah, we need to bring it back on. We'll get back into the swing of things before you have your second kid, because once that happens, I assume I'll never hear from you again.
No, it's when stuff like after the first couple months, like once stuff's winding down, like weekends are generally okay, especially like a weekend night. We have people who can. It'll be fine. As well, provided it's not like, I mean, if he's like Atticus, then it'll be fine. If he hates sleeping and it's colicky, like when I was a baby, then I'm doomed. So
yeah, you're rolling the dice. Yeah,
I am. So those of you in the comments, if you want to see history by Alan, tell me how and where and how I would do that. Hi, Hillary. You know what, Hillary? I take back all the hostile class warfare things I've said about you. You're a class act.
Yeah. I think Bookborn.
I love Bookborn.
I do.
Yeah,
too.
I love Bookborn.
I've always been a big fan of Bookborn, even before I knew her personally. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's good people.
Word.
Alan, so are you, my good friend.
I mean, I appreciate it. Thanks, comments, for not being like, why is this guy so mean? It's like I don't try to be, guys.
You're subdued. You're pretty subdued.
I don't feel well. You can tell I don't feel well. You're right. I did not go off about anything. That's true. Yeah. People are gonna be like, this episode sucks because Alan's not jumping up and down like Rumpelstiltskin.
I don't know. You gave us the best Brandon Sanderson impersonation I've ever heard.
Look,
that's a highlight.
Look, I wonder if I can do it when I'm well. But all right, I'm glad I was able to pilot that for you.
Yeah, Bookborn, we're nice. We're nice people.
I know.
Alan, Alan loves hard and hates hard. He
That's true.
That's who he is. Folks, if you don't know Alan, welcome to the chaos of Alan.
Post about 3 videos a year.
They're pretty good though. They're great bits. You should check them out. They really are. I love them. But go ahead and check out his channel. I have it linked in the description, I think. But also, I don't remember if I did. But if I did, you should go check it out. And if not, well, who cares? But
word.
But we appreciate you guys being here, hanging out on a Friday night. There's a lot of places you could be, but you decided to be here.
Hold on. Before you say let's keep turning the page. Bookborn's Red Rising trilogy review was so good.
I made a lot of people angry.
Doesn't matter. Bookborn is out there, and you know what? Because she's the freaking first estate. Like, Bookborn gets to say things that people have to listen to. She calls Pierce Brown out for that trash that happens in Morningstar. Guess what, Pierce? You don't get to invent the rules, buddy. Like, everyone's got to follow the rules, including you. The rules have to apply to everybody equally, or it's not justice, it's tyranny. You hear that, Pierce? Are you a tyrant, Pierce? And Bookborn takes him to task.
She's
out there fighting the good fight.
It definitely not a super. I don't want to say it's a hot take, but there's definitely a lot of people who would be upset by that opinion.
You know what? Those people could sit out and rotate, Jimmy. How about that one?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I'm ever reading the sequels. I think I kind of just like, I don't know. I just watched the response and I was like, you know what? I don't want to read the series. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think I'm ever read the sequels.
I want to know how it ends. But like, Morningstar is inexcusable. It's Michael Nipp and I could not stop laughing because he couldn't accept it. And I was so mad. I'm like, I've never seen an author completely ignore the rules that everyone has lived by since the dawn of time. Homer doesn't violate these rules from 1100 BC. And Pierce Brown's like, you know who's better than Homer? Me.
I've heard people make the argument that it's not.
People can make whatever argument they want. It doesn't mean it's right. No. What Pierce Brown did should be a crime. And he should be taken to task. And Bookborn's out there doing the Lord's work. Thank you, Bookborn, being on the front lines.
Hear that, Bookborn doing the Lord's work. You love to see it. You love to be here. And the chatting with nuts.
It's not okay.
We almost made it through without Alan getting fired up. And at the very end came through at 100-degree temperature. You look bad. Like, you look worse.
Yeah. Look, but I got to make time for chat. Look,
you look red.
It's been 7 months. I couldn't miss my opportunity. I couldn't miss my window. Got to take I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm not throwing away my shot.
You got to seize the moment. You never know. These slots fill up very quickly. I should be back in like 2 weeks for a wrap up, I think. And I have 1 or 2 normal videos that I'm planning on doing. If I can get some time, that'd be fantastic. But I do appreciate you being here, Alan. Thanks again. Always love talking to you.
Thanks
And
for having me.
Yeah, anytime, my friend. Literally, anytime that you want, we can do it.
Yeah, I'm not having 7 months again. I'm gonna be like, what is this nonsense? Boom,
unacceptable. It's an unacceptable break.
The problem is I've been super busy. Just with, like I said, being sick and with the kids, and then the baby has been sick a bunch this year. But normally I watch, and when I watch, I get irritated that no one is listening to me in the chat. And like my worst nightmare is having opinions that like just shouting into a void.
Well, I'm far behind always too. Yeah.
And that's when I message you and I'm like, Jimmy, put me on. Like, put me on. I have things to say and I need people to hear them.
You did do that last time. And I always love it. I always love it. You know,
so it's just been a hot minute. So I've been a hot minute since I've been ignored in the chat. So that gets me to.
We'll see if you've fallen off. We'll see what this episode does. I'll be very curious.
Oh no, that'll be so. Oh man,
there's a lot of expectations.
No, how many concurrent watchers do we have at one time?
Right now it's 104 because people thought we were saying bye. But
yeah, how many?
But at the top, I think it was like 150.
That's right, it's 150.
Yeah,
that's
right, pretty good. It's pretty good. I've had some other guests hit 200 though. So
what? Who?
I don't remember, but I know it's happened twice.
Who? I've hit 200.
I think Bookborn might be one of them.
Oh well, it was nice while it lasted. Freaking Bookborn.
That's perfect. That is the perfect.
I think Murphy probably also topped it.
No, not at all. Not even close.
I have topped 200 before, Jimmy. Back in the prime.
Murphy and Jared are, I think, the biggest channels that I've ever had on, and ironically, they don't do the numbers you would imagine. I think it's because people don't expect there to be crossover there. Like, I don't know if we share audiences, if that makes sense, which is funny because
see what you did, Jimmy.
I know. You guys were getting a little too chummy. I had to put a wrench in there.
You had to throw it. It's my allegiances are so easily thrown away.
Oh, I know. That's I'm playing you. I'm Littlefinger here.
I can be crossed so quickly.
You're Cersei and I'm Littlefinger. I'm over here scheming, bro.
Sorry. Oops.
Hit like if you like this stream. You get dislike if you dislike. If you love, think about subscribing. I'd love to have you here for future episodes. Alan will be back for sure, and not in 7 months. But until we see you next time, be good, be safe, and remember to always keep turning the page.
Turning the page.
There it is. I was waiting for you.